Deja vu, I'm here. So if you're here, I'm here. I hope you're doing well if you're coming in. I'm looking for the stream so I can come in here and be here with you in the stream. Sound check. I don't know. I can't hear anything yet, so just a moment. I think I have to leave and come back. So if you're hearing me, if you're here and present, thank you for your patience. I'll be back as soon as I can get in. Now, I am quickly losing subscribers because I haven't been present. But most of you who know me know it was critical that I took time away. I hope that there is a way you can get in. It's not letting me in. This is so weird. Yeah, I was going to speak to that. Carrie had commented. I was going to speak to that topic too. Okay, sound check. Hello, Mr. Love. How are you? There are no personal questions on this one. I'm so sorry. But... Okay, sound check. Hello, Mr. Love. How are you? There are no personal questions on this one. I guess you can hear me. The reason is I haven't been here in a while. There's so many world topics I have to touch on, and specifically America, but the whole world is at large right now. A lot is happening. It has become so much bigger than we had anticipated. How are you? How's everything going in your corner? Are you in America? Or are you outside America? And I just had a song that was playing in my mind now, Chicago. I don't know if anybody who comes in here has any kind of connection to Chicago. So there, of course, could be messages that if you get collective information out of this, you could apply it to your personal situation if need be. If I have the energy and the wherewithal, Wednesday I will be reporting to Tinker, that channel, to do personals. And Thursday, let's see, I want to do Lucky Star on Thursday if I can. And Friday, it's kind of up to debate whether I'll have free time. If I do, it'll be one of those channels. I hope that you're in a peaceful place wherever you're at. Yeah, we're in a time right now where most of the world is precarious, and it has to do with a few places. I had a song that was going through my mind by this band, Chicago, and I don't know why that was. Let me see if I can find it. Have you heard from your person? Are you looking for that new one? Yes, I'm home now getting ready for work. Okay, so I got you in the beginning of your day. I hope you have a wonderful day. I do have some letters that I'm going to call out. Now, these could apply to you. They don't have to. I pulled them out with intention to be collective energy and precarious energy, if you will. So specifically, if you're looking for that person that you're trying to cleanse of your energy, something here could show up. So if you have time for the notepad and or would like to rewind this later, I do have letters here. And as I said, if I pull out collective, and you can look for me Wednesday at Tinker, that is the plan. And I'll try to aim for early enough so that maybe you can catch me before work. Does it sound okay? I'm not looking for anyone, but she called once and never called back. I hope she leaves you alone. Unless, of course, you want to cleanse things. Whatever way is best for you, of course. But from what you've told me, I think she's caused you a lot of problems. So I hope your life gets better from there on. Okay, so I'm going to read these letters out. Now, this is going to apply towards what we're reading on. There is a surprise twist I have if I can make it to the end of the stream. And I have time and I have a voice to work with. Something happened to me. I had a download come to me while I was watching a movie. let's just say, with those of us that have the eyes to see, sometimes we see things, kind of like looking when you're scrying, like in the clouds, you're laying back on your back, looking in the stars, you can make pictures of things, right? And that is what happened. I was watching a movie, and in the still shot, I caught something, and they sent it to me on purpose. And it isn't something other people are going to see or even agree with, but it does seem to have merit. And they talked to me through the Scrabble and other mechanisms. I spoke to them, spirit, okay, and it all connected. Now, it has to do with something that I'm going to talk about now. So that will be at the tail of this read. It'll be another, it's kind of like a bonus to this read because it's not something I spoke of prior. But Carrie had mentioned in the comment area, the outside live stream area, that her comments, things are not matching up, with the algorithms, the thumbs up, the comments, things like that, right? And she is not wrong. I hope you have a wonderful couple days off, Mr. Love. Hey, Nila, how are you doing? I'm doing fine. I'm trying to keep myself going, if you will. It's been pretty tough. Have you been doing better? So Carrie mentioned, the algorithms, how things aren't matching up here. And I don't know how it's working at other platforms. I don't use all the other platforms. I use just this one. I keep it simple. I've been previously at the other ones. I threw those out so long back. It's been a good 3 years since I've dabbled anywhere outside of YouTube. And I tried to do Rumble. I found it was not for me. I tried to use Odyssey. There was one that was never seen. Nobody ever went to. I used for a little while. 𝐒𝐩𝐢𝐭𝐡. Nobody really used it. I don't even know if it's still there. Odyssey, I would be fine with having it as a backup, but nobody's going to go there to find me. So I don't know what to do. I have no reach. Nobody will find me or even look for me or follow me to Odyssey. My following is so small. I don't like the word following, but the people who know me, it is so small. And it seems to dwindle by the day if I don't show up. So I have to put care and feeding into myself, to nurture myself and heal myself, right, through all the energy attacks. But I only have what I can bring, as often as I can. So I'm going to try this week. So right now I am saying that I'm going to make a strong attempt Wednesday and Thursday to show up for the other channels. But if I don't, it's only because I have to take care of me. Okay. So I just want everyone to know that if that does not happen, it isn't because I'm being mean, rude. I'm trying to, I don't want anybody feeling like I'm trying to, I have to take care of me. Okay. So we've been going through some personal stuff here where I'm at. We have thieving on us. There's just been a plethora of problems, and there's a lot of people in my world that I care about, including myself, who are afflicted by what is going on right now in this country. So the letters we have, okay, wait, before I get there. So what Carrie said was the algorithms, things that measure out, for the details, to find channels, to see our comments, things like that. Nothing was actually matching. She'd see like a thumb up, it'd be a different number, kind of like what I see when I do the collective. And there is like a lesser number there for me than for the average person looking. So all of you always think, well, why is she, trying to say the number isn't what it is? Because no two of us are all going to see the same thing. They have it fixed this way. I think so. We'll argue, backbite, whatever. I don't know. Make some of us look like liars. I don't know. So anyways, AI is completely running amok now. What am I speaking about? Some of you may understand what I'm speaking about and others might not. The deepfake videos that some of you are aware of can now be put out, bar none. I mean, you could put like 6 deepfake videos out and one real one, and you might not be able to tell the difference between them. There is nothing credible, nothing honest that is stopping this from happening. We have no oversight. The laws are off the books. The only laws that operate in this country I'm in right now are the ones that one dictator would have. I'm not going to go into politics here, but he thinks he's above God, okay? And so we can see propaganda, we can see AI, we can see it created by artificial mechanisms. We can actually witness our own likenesses, sounds. We could be created into a deepfake and we're just average people. I'm just being honest. That is where we are. We've crossed a threshold we cannot return from. This has to do with what I'm going to put at the tail end of this video. That was what I consider to be a bonus part of the video. So it's something you didn't come in for, but you might enjoy. You might actually understand. It might help. So that is what I have going on there. Hey, Faith, how are you doing? It's so good to hear from you. I'm so glad to see you checking in. Thank you. How are things going over there? I do have letters I'm going to call out now. So these are, you can apply them if you need to in your personal world. So we have Y, G, W, A, L, D, A, F, C, E, E, O, L, N, R, I, E, P, T, I, A, X, T. So I saw tax in here, TAX. I saw taxi, TAXI. I saw RICO. We had a RICO Act. A lot of people are calling it KID napping, okay? But what happened to us talking about human trafficking, right? I think I see traffic in here. So I'm just saying, what happened to that terminology? Because that's what's happening on, so the RICO Act, right? It's happening on a large scale now here in the US. If you're not in the America area, I'm just putting it out here. This is an SOS from an American citizen. We are in a very bad place in America right now. Human rights are being exploited. People are being thrown away like garbage. And it is true. And now I'm going to go ahead and get to what I see here. Now, I'm not seeing S for Epstein, you know, for the island. But I'm seeing everything here but the S. Now, that is what happens. Usually, when Spirit wants to test me, I'll be missing one letter. And it's kind of saying, you know, read between the lines. You know, they're not trying to be obvious. So yes, they're doing all they can to hide those documents. We have Elon, E-L-O-N. Now, I did not plan any of these, and I know you can't see me, and I did this before. You know, you have your faith in me or you don't. I mean, it's up to you. But this truly was not, I did not know what I was grabbing. And so we have tire, T-I-R-E. And so again, this doesn't have to be personal, but maybe check your tires, okay? Maybe they're running on flats. Maybe this is yeah, we have DEI, which that dictator does not like DEI, okay? We do have felon here. We have Elon and felon. Of course, a lot of people are running around saying things like that. He's in here, so the letters are in here for ELON and FELON. So we have that, and then we have the word gold, G-O-L-D, and we don't have an M here, but I don't know if anybody knows about the gold dome that the dictator wants to put in for America. We have Dole fruit. I don't know if their company is keeping something funded. We do have the Fed, F-E-D. We do have wage, W-A-G-E. I saw Africa. So we're speaking of a specific apartheid African, right? Tracks, T-R-A-X. Tracks. Like maybe we need to think about what somebody's tracks, the tracks they left. Where have they been? Now I'm going to also speak on, I want to read on things that are previously left by the subscribers. Let me see here. Yes, make sure that they're firm so there's and make sure you don't take anything into your tire. Be safe because, you know, sometimes I get those and, you know, I don't know how good your roads are, you know, or where you're driving, but you just got to be careful. We got PTA. I don't know if that's been defunded too because the in America, the school, we do have T here, obviously TEA. Somebody could be in Washington or near Oregon, Washington, the border area, because I have Oregon OR here, and then I have Fed Way, which there's a place known as Federal Way in Washington, the Washington western coast of the U.S. I don't have the entire spelling here, but I'm seeing it's like Clancy. Now, Clancy is an author. Anybody read him? We have Florida FLA. We have Clayman, Clay. I'm seeing Ontario, I think here, Canada. We have CAN, but I think I see Ontario. Let me see. ONTAR. Yeah, we have Ontario. So something could happen there. Now, I know Ottawa is a place that I would consider to be a very cautionary place if you're in Canada, because apparently they really want to align with that person who we know here as a dictator. So yeah, somebody's cell phone. We do have two L's here, by the way. Wall, WALL. We have cell, CELL. This could be cellmate. This could be, you know, it could be your cell phone. A lot of people are having their cell phones confiscated at the airports. That could be what this is about. The name Wade, WADE, cell. Somebody has something that they're going to tell. Now, I'm going to keep these like they are, and then I will scramble them up more if need be. So right now, those are the things I have here. I do know this is news that somebody might want. If you're in America, something that I found out, the next on the radar for this individual that is trying to ruin this nation, the next two things that are on the list are libraries and museum. This is a very sad time to be in this country. So, hey, Carrie, good to see you. Oh, I'm trying to, I've had my ups and my downs, my body and my mood. Faith, thank you so much for asking. Yeah, it's been a very, very hard time to be here and see things as they are. And my body, because of the autoimmune system, it attacks me. And so I go through these bouts. Matter of fact, if I had the camera on right now, I put on rings and my fingers are just swollen because autoimmune, you can swell. It's like inflammation, right? So my body's trying to attack itself. So I need to listen to some healing vibrations. And I did, Carrie, thank you so much for reading on that pendulum I asked you about last week. 2 weeks is not up. So there is still a chance that there will be evidence of that trouble that I asked about. But so far, fingers crossed, they have not shown up anymore. So let's hope that those derelicts who have been trying to steal right here are to be ceased, right? That it's over. I hope I did the measures I needed to do to hopefully get them to leave. Okay, so Carrie, I am going to look for what is the Zwinger in Dresden Palace? How is it connected in Germany to what we've been reading? Is there something we need to know about this, please? The Zwinger Palace in Germany. Is there something we need to know about this, please? Page of Swords, the Sun. Something needs to be seen. Is there something about it that, is it good or bad? Can you give me an idea, please? Is it good or bad? 𝐒𝐩𝐢𝐭𝐡, please. 10 of Cups. I don't know the history of it, so I'm going to look into it a little bit with World War II real quick. I'm going to see what I find on that, because I got 10 of Cups, and this is like beautiful energy with the Sun. And so I kind of wonder if it was preserved, it was protected. You have to change them. Did you have ice where you at? Were you in an icy place, Mr. Love? Thank you for welcoming me back. Sending you positive and beautiful energy too, Carrie. I had to do a little bit of coughing. And the cone, the incense cone that I was burning previous, it kind of got me. No sun. Aw. I know. I love having sun. I miss it when we don't have it. I know what you mean, though. Do you see about what they found under the... Yes. Yes. Most definitely, Carrie. If you read my comment, I'm going to leave that to later, the one that I put out on the community board. My psyche, okay, the spirit within me that speaks to me, on a wider scale, the part of me that has that spidey sense there connected, right? Since that there could be some kind of matrix thing connected to this underling, that they try to keep it from us all this time, because the royals were the ones protecting that. And so the two places that I've been actually focusing on, I'm going to explain to you why that was a big deal for me. I was speaking to my mother not 24 hours before the story broke. And I was looking through my book. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, of course, and I want it there. It's not here. Okay. I have a book that I got when I purchased from Amazon about 3 years ago, a whole bunch of rocks, just general agates and, a blend of everything, right? And the company had produced this cute little book where you open it up and it gives you a kind of basic on how hard each one is and things like that, where in the world they are, these gems, right? And I found granite. And I was looking right at granite, and I read it out loud to my mother. And I said, you know what? What do you think of when you think of granite? I said, do you think it's spiritual? I said, this was like 24 hours. Okay, this is how spirit works with me, right? It was 24 hours within the time that the story broke about the pyramids. So if you look into the story a little bit more, there's granite in there that was supposed to be coated underneath the limestone that eroded. And the other thing is, I don't know how much you followed on it, but the other thing is that they did allude to information as to, I can't have you up here, baby. I can't. As to, I'll come back to you. The antiquity of this invention and the land, the towns, whatever, that are down below, actually are timed much older than the ones that we would think of as the pharaohs, the kings, the queens, all of the ones in Egypt that we always denote to our specific people that we, speak of, that were royal. So this is like the information they piggybacked on. They weren't the originators. There was something very old beyond them below. So I think that's what I was supposed to go to. So the idea of us being caged in the maze of the matrix, I think, is related to these pyramids. Now, when I was studying astrology, I was studying asteroids, and I learned about these asteroids, and I pinpointed them on my chart, and I would study them on public people, things like this. And I learned things about the Sphinx and the pyramids and everything else. And some of the things that were woo-woo that I found out, were that, yeah, they housed our records. They also housed a conductive system, which was like a frequency that would dictate to us how to move, you know? So it's like our blueprints, like we're being controlled by these. So I'm thinking that the matrix is really sort of stemmed to not just these pyramids, but look, they've got them all over the planet. So how do you think they keep us in the matrix? You're in the Caribbean. Oh, Mr. Love. So no rain there yet? You do have sun. Now I have to step away for just a moment. Now we read um, on 𝐤𝐢𝐭𝐡 and we're getting good energy here on it, but I'm gonna find out. I'll be right back. Okay, so the 𝐤𝐢𝐭𝐡 from Dresden. I don't see anything particular about it. Hmm. It says the bombing of Dresden was a historic benchmark that demonstrated the power of strategic bombing. Critics say that the military value of bombing did not justify Dresden's near destruction and that the city would have been spared, like Rome, Paris, and Kyoto. Given the high number of civilian casualties and the relatively high or few strategic targets, some even called the bombing of Dresden a war crime, though both the British and the American militaries defended the bombing as necessary. That was World War II. Now, that is about the city in which 𝐤𝐢𝐭𝐡 is, but that isn't telling us if to 𝐤𝐢𝐭𝐡, because my mother and I were speaking of Dresden, and because she does follow a little bit of history, she said it had been around since. So was it a part that they did not touch? They actually are reporting that America has more pyramids per capita than the rest of the world. Now, I don't know how true that is, and I'd have to really look into this. But when I started to have some real deep insight coming to me back when I was like in, say, my early 30s, I would come away from dreams and I would get like major messages and visuals. And I saw the pitted Grand Canyon. I knew then, before they started speaking of it very widely, that Egypt was very connected to that. And then I really started making connections to our Native Americans being Egyptians and things like this. And so the pyramids in America, it only kind of, for me, registers in how we're so more mind controlled than the rest of the planet is. Because if you really think about it, we are in America more like drones than anywhere else on the planet. I have heard stories of people coming to live in America, not anyone I've known personally. I've read and heard stories. And they'll go back And they're so different from when they are in their original place, and then they'll go back to visit, or they'll move back to where they were from, and there is a change in them. And it's not just the diet. There's a lot here that I feel is controlling to the people who live here. So I kind of feel it has to do with a lot of the implements that they put into, like they do things in our skies, they do things in our water, they do, their sound frequencies, they have scalar technology. But then you add into these pyramids, if there are more, it is kind of telling. And Carrie, I don't know if you heard me speak on at the very tail end of this. I'm going to speak on a bonus part related to the AI concept of where it is and how out of the bottle is it, and how it connects to what you were speaking to in the comment area to me on your things being misconstrued or miscalculated, or things are just not matching like they should, right? Okay, so Dresden Zwinger. And Carrie says, yes, I find more pyramids all the time throughout the world. And Mr. Love says, I believe a lot of things would come to light soon. I sure hope so. I actually feel that they will, because, okay, now I'm not really trying to speak biblically, but that is a particular vestige of what we can use, for our wisdom here, because you can take things, whether you prescribe to them or not. It's kind of like an enemy could say something you don't like, and they could have some kind of truth in it. So what I'm seeing here in my learning, there is a passage in the Bible that says when the scales fall from their eyes, so the scales are in the way of the eyes, right? Scales could be the scales of justice. They could be the scales of a snake. Snakes are a learning vessel, wisdom. They can be healing. They can be cunning. They can be a lie. They can be untrustworthy. They can be poison. They can be toxic. But a snake can be something that brings truth. So when the scales fall from the eyes, you can see. That's what the whole verse is supposed to be about. You can see holy, right? And some people take it for the third eye, the decalcification, to remove the decalcifying facets that some have done to themselves through the way of their lifestyle or where they live, right? So I see this as the year of the snake. It's going until February or late January of next year. It changes all the time. So it's somewhere in there. So between the final week of January to the first week probably of February next year, the year of the snake is going to be showing us enemies. It's going to be showing us the truth. It's going to be showing us things we need to see, things that will slither past us any other time, but it's to be seen now in the light. So in the light means that even if it's hard for us to digest, even if it's hard for us to accept, we don't want to see it. We have to. If we don't accept and embrace things for what they are, we can't get past it. We can't heal it. So, as I've said, we're dealing with a lot of tragedies happening on this planet right now, and a lot of it is happening because of a few different leaders that are regimes. They are not legally leading any of these places. So when I say that, I mean, when I speak of it, I'll say America, Russia, North Korea, to some level, El Salvador, and a couple other Latino kind of based places, and possibly certain African portions. Not all, okay, where the apartheid rule would be, right? So I may be missing something. If I am missing an area, please do say, and I'll shout that one out. But there are a large portion of people who are being trafficked at this time. Even if they haven't been stolen and put into prisons, they're still trafficked, because if they're under the thumb of some kind of dictatorship they did not ask for, that is trafficking. So the snake, I'm going to say one last time, it is to show us so we can heal from the toxicity that we've been forced into. That is what I'm getting from it. And we can also maybe, if we can cut the head off with the snake, as they say, then maybe it will be done, right? This is much like Perseus trying to take Medusa's head, right, in mythology. Because without getting her, look at all these vipers she had swinging from her hair, right? And so we're ultimately not waiting for a savior, a superhero. We are that being together, all of us, as wise as we can be, as open as we are, to embrace, understand, to share, to heal, to work together. So when I do speak to the people who are not in my country or in the countries that are affected by these monsters, okay, I'm saying that by any means, I can't have you over there. By any means, somebody's trying to get where he shouldn't be going. By any means, other places need to step up if it comes to it, because we're dominoes. Their ideas are to swallow the power, swallow the energy, liquefy the goods, produce opulence beyond, while they savagely pluck away the lives of many, the ecology, everything this planet needs. So we're not just fighting that. I need to put out here one thing I want to say, just because some of you may not know and some of you may, but it's very important that you understand. The WEF has been out to get us for some time, right? If you know about that, you know about that. It is related to the Heritage 2025, which is in America. This is a indoctrination formula in which was put out. Books were sold aplenty to those that are involved in the movement that's happening in the US right now, that is causing the trouble we're having right now. The idea here is to not just make 15-minute cities. Now, what that means is it means to oppress, depress, suppress, repress, and execute in order to eliminate unwanted people. When I say that, if you see the things they're trying to take away, this is not supposed to be political. I'm just explaining and expressing how it's going to come to a town near you, even if you're not in the same country. So you have to fight whatever way you can, be it boycotting this or that, speaking out, being honest, being truthful, sharing with people. And this is something we have to all do. This is a snake year. Our chance is now. We can't wait. We don't have time. The other thing is the carbon tax. My friends, we are all carbon individuals. If they eliminate it to zero, where do you think that means you're going to be? Where do you think your children will be? This is a planetary alignment plan by leaders that we have that we didn't ask for. They are taking charge over us. Unwanted as in under certain income bracket. Yeah, I would say that if you have under 5 million, I think that he pretty much said 5 million is looked at with a smile. Under that is looked at, like non sequitur, or what's the word I'm looking for? Somebody who's insignificant would have less than 5 million in US dollars. And that there's like a goalpost to that. It could move because of the inflation that's going on right now. So the 5 million could turn into 10 very soon. So those of us that keep getting poorer, then some of us keep getting richer. And it's like I said prior in the reading I did last year. If you were here for it, I had to dump it. Some of you know me from then. The Game of Thrones is a real thing. They're doing it right now. I'm going to make some cards actually about food and food industry, businesses. Ask yourself why certain businesses in America that might be also over in your country, like chains, ask yourself why they're still standing. One is McDonald's. If you know about what's really in the meat. If you don't, we'll have to talk about that another time. There is an ad, if you have not seen it, for KFC. They're rolling around right now on television. I didn't watch it myself. I don't really watch television, so I don't know it that way. But a couple people have shared it. It's in our faces. They use alchemy, or let's say trickery first. Okay, so they take these Gen-Zs, they take them and they put them in the forest, and they're supposed to be doing some kind of a golden egg hunt or something. I don't know, but they think they're getting baptized. Some guy who's new to it, he did not know what he was in for. He thinks he's getting baptized. They put him under as the sacrifice. He literally is getting what he thinks is baptized, but they're using alchemy here. When they do it, they turn him into a huge chicken wing, fried, for the whole tribe to eat. Do I have to tell you any more? Do they have to be more disgusting than they are? And these companies are sharing their products in the whole planet, not just America. This is disgusting, and it should have anybody listening disturbed if they're not already aware of this. I myself, I'm getting to the point where, Carrie, I'm serious. I'm going to put together specific energy on the cards, but that person who runs things, do you notice how he is aligning himself to be like a pharaoh, dripping in gold? I don't know if you know, but the Oval Office, there's nowhere to put anything in there anymore. The walls are covered with golden frames, and he loves his own image. I don't know if you know this. It is disgusting. And it's like gold is dripping everywhere. Now he wants us to fund a golden dome to protect the government of this country that is a regime, while the taxpayers will have to toil and labor to pay for that. The ones that, mind you, are not millionaires. What did you find, baby? The ones that are beyond poverty line, I mean, in this state of times right now. So this is where we are. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go off that topic. We'll come back to that another time. My guy keeps on walking across my desk, and it's difficult. Okay, honey, I can't. Okay, you're not helping. You aren't helping. Oh my goodness, he has to be like there. I love him dearly, I do, but he has to be there. He's like, I know she's reading here. I want, yes, that's two of them I can tell you about that I know of right now. But I want to say that he is gluttonous for that company that starts in. He thinks it's his company because the name is in there. Old MacDonald had a farm. You know what I'm saying? I'm singing it that way so it won't be so obvious. Okay, so we're going back to Dresden. That is right. If you've seen Metropolis, Fritz Lang's Metropolis, let me see if I can get a clip and put it in here real quick, because somebody might want to come back and listen to it or watch it. It's actually very telling, because we are in the AI era, and it come out in 27, so just 2 years away from the 100-year marker. They're in a hurry to make everything happen. So this is just the trailer that I'm putting in here. Thank you for all of you who have liked. I appreciate it so much. I do love you, sweetie. I just can't have you on my Scrabble pieces. I do think that we have enough people that are against what's going on and that are educated enough. Sad thing is, most people who are under, say, 28 are probably lost causes. I would say anyone 29, 30 and over might be the only ones. And because they're trying to get rid of those of the American people who would be in the more, just the more educated version of the people here, because they gave us a really, really bad education system. And even my time, if I wasn't a well-read person, a person who liked to devour information, if I wasn't that kind of person, I wouldn't even have the information I have, because my generation was not given 90% of what I've learned. They were given less, and I did not do well in school. I think it's because I always kind of denote it to my innate knowing that I was given bullshit. It reminds me of Nancy in Stranger Things when she said that she doesn't curse. She's not a cursing girl. Nancy in Stranger Things is the girl, if you've ever seen the show, who has got her nose to the grindstone. She's good in history. She's good at everything. She's a very smart girl. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, her word comes out against her parents. Bullshit. And she says it in a real finite way. Like, I'm wise. You can't tell me anymore. You can't make me feel stupid. I have read. I know. So not an arrogant thing, more of a thing of you can't lie to somebody who has done their diligence, their due diligence to learn something. They want us all stupid. He went on record to say, I like unintelligent or undereducated people. I don't know the proper quote, but it's out there. Okay, so back to Dresden real quick. The Dresden Zwinger still shapes the city's image to this day, reminding us of the glamorous Baroque period like no other building. So like no other, that's like his words. So maybe what we're going to see is he's going to try and create something like this there, where he considers his home. Where I think that he might be thinking Colorado. He did go on record before the genie was out of the bottle and AI took over as big as it did. He made a comment at the podium, and I heard it when it was on television. It was like, it was a live moment. He said something about Colorado. Colorado is a significant mark in the story. I do have CO here for Colorado. I think that's the initials, but we have C for the Scrabble. We have COL. Yeah, we have it all spelled out here, I think. We don't have two O's. So like I said, sometimes it's slippery when we don't have both. Colorado. I'm looking at it funny. So Colorado. It feels like it's like collar or colored vegetables. I don't know if I'm getting the right. Yeah. There is a place in the US named Pontiac, the city, where the car, it might be Michigan. I don't know. We got Pontiac here too. I don't know where that is. It could mean something. So if anyone comes in and hears this, I might look at it if I remember. It could be a Pontiac. We have feud, FEWD. We do have AI here. That person said they want to get rid, dismantle. Yes, they want to make it a privatized situation, just like they want to take away the retirement from those that put into Social Security. And they want to strip us of the basics. And I'm hearing that right now they're taking away our post office, which most of us need. We can't even, where I am, pay our home, our mortgage without having a post office. You need these things. They're fundamental. They're taking them. They're stealing them. This is robbery to a level that's exceeding. It needs stopped. But the plan, as I said, will reach other places if he gets control, if he gets to keep the control he has. And I'm not trying to put fear out. I'm just saying that either we have to make and I'm saying that we need to do things peacefully. But there's going to come a time that the ones that are considered the martial, specialists, if you will, in the military, need to stand for the Constitution, and they need to get this MFer out of here. The whole regime needs stripped. And we can't just do that. We need to do the head, but we need to go for everything. So I kept on seeing a visual of Jenga in my head. Jenga. Anyone play the game? So what you do is, in Jenga, you take the weakest planks out, and the tower will destabilize. Eventually, that tower will fall. Eventually. But you have to start needling it, working on things, right? They've been doing that with us. We need to use our own tactics against themselves. I think because he knows how to build something, he also knows how to destroy. That's why he plays this game like he does. And he's using Steve Bannon to help him behind the scenes now, and the other players. So like a Jenga game. So if you're going to put prayers out there, Carrie and anyone here listening, pray to bring light and justice against those that are keeping support on the figureheads we see on the table here. This will destabilize the entire network, the whole regime, which will counter effect those connected, which are in different nations. So then any of these kind of nasty energies, they will all fall down. That person said they want to get, yes, plus the libraries to keep them from learning, and the museums. This is dangerous, but this is what they did then. And it's like Fahrenheit 451, burning the books, you know, teleprompters alone. So I wanted to explain something real quick, and this is going to kind of segue into my, I'm kind of giving you kind of a taste of what's going to be the finalizing part of this video. The finalizing part of the video is going to be the bonus, as I said, but okay. There are good and there are bad products. We have to know, we have to research, we have to suss out what is right for us as humanity, what we believe in, where our money goes, our resources, our time, our attention. It's important right now. Doesn't matter what country we're in. Now, I would say I promote not buying American products at this time. I would promote it. And I know that a lot of you are standing by that. I would promote it. Destabilize those that are the MFers that own companies in this country here. I know that sounds like I'm going against but I'm not, because I'm not part of that. And we're going to hurt regardless, us people here, right? We have to take a sacrifice, and that's it. I'm going to put this out there. I want you all to hear what I'm saying. This is important. That South African, who we spoke of, right? He owns a company named Starlink, okay? It gives internet service to people that are out of reach, far out. Does anybody here use it? I'm going to say to you that if that company wasn't used by him and there was a like company out there, a competitor company with a integrity-based background, that would be the smartest way to go. But if, say, they put us in the dark, I don't know if you all know about all the sightings in the sky where people were living in the dark. We've had a lot of power outages put out into some of our Latino nations or island areas, disrupted energy for some time. You can't get on the internet if that happens to you. So they were saying that Starlink was actually helping. But I'm going to say something. Starlink is a Trojan horse. I have to let you all know that if it sounds like it has a parallel to Skynet, you would not be mistaken. Skynet is the fiction, right? Idea of a sentient kind of creation that takes over and dehumanizes the population. Sentient, when I say that, artificial intelligence, cybernetics, humans that look real but they aren't. And what do you think that they're going to put us in if they can like steal our souls when they try to put us down? They can actually, if you followed anything on Max Spears or you know about Black Goo, if you know about how mechanisms in, say, spiritual realm and their abilities to usurp the soul as it's exiting the body, they can steal our soul, plant it into something we don't want to be in. Go back and watch some of those very, very low budget movies from the 80s, and some of them weren't. RoboCop, the Terminator franchise, there's a lot of them. That is where we're headed. So I'm kind of giving you a little taste, but let me explain this Starlink. So it's like a Trojan horse. Did you know that he has been the creator of Starlink? And you know who he is, right? EM. Those are his initials, okay? He has actually been getting into very sensitive information that should not be privy to his wandering eyes. Be it he paid millions to be on the vote with this bastard who we have right now running an illegal system, which I love calling it a regime because that's what it is. These are a bunch of pirates. So tell me something. Riddle me this, Batman. How is it that Twitter was paid for at a higher capital than the American ticket that this fool from Africa paid. This country was that low that we would sell it off. So what I'm going to say is Starlink is definitely anything that is attached to that person is a Trojan. You're going to sit into a death trap car or truck. It's on you. It's your business. You want to buy it. You're going to hurt anyone around you in it. It is a swastika car for a reason. Okay. I'm going to say something about Starlink. I think it's really important. If you're in a very isolated area and that's your only way, you're not doing yourself any favors. He is spying. Now, yes, you could have a Wi-Fi with any company and be spied on. But if you're in the sky, it's all seeing. You can actually have a better view of what people are doing. I don't know if anybody here has seen Squid Game, which is very disturbing because I kind of feel like that's what America is headed to if they have their way here. Okay. They have bubbles over the heads to each individuals. They have numbers associated. They have the values of what they are worth or something like. They have all the different things. They can get information on each person. They could find out, okay, think like a sim. They could see how many times you've used the bathroom. How many times have you washed your hands? You could get charged for every flush of the toilet. You could get charged for every time you turn on your faucet. You could get charged for anything that they think that you are deemed taking away from, say, the system. When I say that, the electricity you use, the air you breathe, the things you consume, the things you look at. Do you see how micromanaging this is? Starlink is the beginning, the progenitor, I cannot say it, of this issue. You need to see him as public enemy number one. I'm serious. Above the one we don't like. Who likes McDonald's? Okay, so this one here from Africa is the first problem. The next problem is WEF and Heritage Foundation. Those two groups are aligned so they can destabilize us and strip us of humanity. This planet is ours. It's not theirs. They think it is theirs. It's not. If we give it up to them, it is. Some people in Canada thought that if Alberta and or Canada, that person will allow you still our pensions. You know, Ottawa, Carrie, I was talking when I first got here, beware of your Ottawa people. Those people are aligned with the MAGAs. I'm for real. I'm as serious as a hurricane. I have been hearing that they want to, I've been reading I sometimes find myself looking in places that because I used to go on both sides. See, I aligned with this MFer on one category. Well, I didn't understand the whole DEI thing. I'll be honest. I thought that, yeah, people were being thrown under the bus if they were, say, white, but I did not fall for it to the level that a lot of these people did because I'm not a racist person. So I looked at this with a discerning eye. I was like, well, wait a minute. This seems kind of severe. But I did kind of like engage in like listening to the propaganda. I fell for some of it, but I did not vote. That's the thing. I don't believe in the voting system. When I say that, I mean, I know that it's all a lie. They steal our votes. They don't really, and they can by money, but I don't really believe in it. I don't, because I think that it's always been, ever since 2000, I've explained it. Ever since Gore versus Bush, I've seen it for a joke. That's what I've seen. I am way out of town, but don't use Starlink for a reason. Yeah, Starlink. I feel that he can consume. See, Intel is one of the biggest money makers and has been for like the last 5 years. If you think about it, anytime that you went on your tablet, your phone, whatever you used on the internet, and you would speak or think 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour before you were in conversation, you were thinking of buying something. They have already known and been privy of where you were going to put your money. So they're putting ads out on there. They're showing you something to click on that was something. So you didn't have precog with the machine. The machine was spying on you. So ultimately people are fooled. A lot of people think with their ego and they think, oh, how funny. I must be psychic. We're all psychic. The problem is that when we are engaged in our egos, our psychic abilities are nullified. So the people who think along those terms, that believe so strongly that the machine itself is part of their psychic ability, they're wrong. I'm only saying that because it is the truth. Okay, the machine, I've fallen for it too. The machine will dictate to you what it is reading off of us. AI has been very well informed and it is very educated on us now. It knows how to mimic us. The video would not let me play it. I want to play a little clip real quick. I'm just going to do this just for does anybody, have you watched Skynet films, movies about Terminator, the Terminator, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and the franchise, the TV series, the John Connor, Sarah Connor Chronicles? Anybody here? Are you driving to work? Okay, be careful with those tires, Mr. Love. Our new person is all for this, that person. Carney is for what person? He's for EM. Is he for the African one, you mean? I thought he was against what's going on here in America. Well, I thought he didn't want to be connected. You see, this is my concern, Carrie, and you probably think like me, so you probably thought this too. My concern for Canada right now, and I'm saying this on the record, my concern for Canada, and I'm going to pull a card while I say it. Spirit, can you give me some energy on that, please? Queen of Wands. Yeah, okay. Seven of Swords, Queen of Wands. It's too attractive to pass up, okay? Seven of Swords, Queen of Wands. Yeah, it's too attractive to pass up. My concern for Canada is that when he said those words, there's an invisible line between these two places. If you remember that quote he made, he said, oh, it's invisible. You know, there's no true border boundary between Canada and America. Oh, whatever. It's too attractive to pass up. He is fully aware and he already has, I feel, boots down in the tunnel systems waiting to come up through manholes or whatever so they can get in there and do what they want. If they would like to take it, they can. So I hope you guys have military and people waiting to protect said tunnel systems, because that is what they're looking at. That is what I see here. That is what I've been getting on my mind's eye. Them coming up through the ground when everyone's sleeping and taking over whatever way they can, small areas at a time. Maybe even Ottawa, because if they go to Ottawa, then Ottawa that's already aligned with them, they would, grow a faction against the rest of Canada. So, if this is something you've thought of, this is what I've thought too. And I think Spirit's telling me this. So maybe it is a warning. If you felt that way, Carrie, be smart to maybe tell anyone who's important that could do something to protect those areas. Yeah, he is the Ronald McDonald, isn't he? The Ronald McDonald. What's really funny is America was not in real good shape when we had the Ronald, and now we have the Donald. So I thought about it in the two, the D and the R, right? D and R together in hospital terminologies do not resuscitate, which means don't bring them back. Don't put oxygen back in. Don't let it live. Let it go. That life is over. Do not resuscitate. So between these two factions, it kind of feels like we are in a do not resuscitate mode here in America. Okay, let me get back to, I feel, and I'm not going to read to it too much more. We're going to return to this one because we've gotten just a little bit, I'm talking about so many things, but I did have research shining a light on a happily ever after, and it feels like the palace is being implemented here. I do think that if I look at this closer, that there is an angel maybe in this 10 of Cups. This is the 𝐒𝐲𝐢𝐭𝐡 read that I was doing. I don't see an angel present, but there's a lot of like brass and gold. So I think that this I'm going to have to revisit, but it looks to me like it is more about the fool that we're calling Ronald McDonald wanting to research how to have opulence for himself for a happily ever after. So I think he likes Dresden. My brother lives in a town that has an underground tunnel system and that mobsters used to use years ago to get away from American authorities to hide in Canada. Kind of like the underground railroad systems we used to have here for the solar people. Black people, I'm trying not to be, I'm just trying, I don't know if everyone understands when I say solars, darker pigmented people, of that time because of the oppression that was put upon them. Harriet Tubman. I remember one of the biggest points of interest when I was growing up in, say, 5th grade, 6th grade, the library was looking into the, for me, okay, I don't know if anybody knows, in America, there was a Segregation Act, which he's now taking and putting back into place, which means that the sun and the moon people, right, the solar, the lunar, white and black, right, we're not allowed to be in the same places, the same classes, the same, I had two friends that were brother and sister in kindergarten. It was the first year they lifted the segregation. So I was a kindergartner. I had no idea that there'd ever been such a thing as not being able to unite with other people of different color. So it was like a refreshing thing to see, because I'm a person who loves different people. So I was like taken really fast by them, becoming friends with them, playing with them in the schoolyard, sitting by them in class, this and that, right? And the point I'm making is it's very, very sad and pretty depressing to me to see that this is something he's trying to instigate again. And now I'm understanding when I've seen some of our darker pigmented people here who are friends, right? I see them when they comment about sundown towns don't go to, and I've heard stories of truck drivers being deleted, going down to those places. I originally, before we got where we are now, thought that this is like fear tactics, people talking propaganda. I'm starting to believe it's true, and I'm very disheartened. We need a massive exorcism on this country, on the Ronald McDonald people, the regime behind it. Okay, so I'm seeing something about donations. So I want everybody to know that if you are donating to anything, be cautious who you're donating to. I don't have 2 O's. Again, this happens. I don't have 2 N's either, but I'm seeing it here. So there could be some kind of a donation that is fueling, funding what it is we're concerned about, what we're talking about. Yeah. I have lip and I have liar. So somebody who's moving their lips is always lying. McDonald, right? So yeah, GTE, I don't know if that's a company still. It could be involved here. So I want to read on those questions that were left by Carrie, and let me see if I can find a list here of, when I get in here, it's sometimes hard when I start yammering. Sorry. I get carried away. And so Carrie said, I'm sorry you're going through this, but there are some that instead went, okay, that one isn't the one. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, about star seeds. I'm going to have to do that on another read because it's kind of a little different. We're going to have to bring in specific cards for that too. So I'll work on that. What about Cheyenne Mountains? What's going on in Cheyenne Mountains? Can we find out what's going on in the Cheyenne Mountains, please? What is going on in Cheyenne Mountains? 8 of Pentacles. They're working on something presently. Knight of Swords that others are watching or researching on. There is something spiritual there, though. So maybe this is something kind of similar to Egypt, maybe a modern day. We have the Hierophant here. Can you tell me what the Hierophant is? Okay, they're working hard to keep others out, to lock it up, barricade it. I don't know if that's happened yet or not. They're putting some changes. They're installing changes. I think that they're radically going to steal the space like they always do, to keep it for their own use. Queen of Swords. So I don't know if the military is still using it. They're going to be burdened to maintain it and keep others out. King of Cups. Yeah, there's a highly spiritual connection to that portion of where the military's at. Because the King of Cups also has Michael and Gabriel, I think, attached. What is going to happen to Cheyenne Mountains, please? Ace of Pentacles. They're going to put a lot of money into it. So they're not going to allow access to others. The plan is that they're going to incorporate money into it. Now, Cheyenne, that is Wyoming, right? So funny. I was a little girl. For a little spell, I lived in Idaho. And I would think that I wanted to live in Montana or Wyoming. And I think my idea with that was because they were both more country-based. You know, rolling hills, animals, nature, you know, less urban sprawl. Can I find out more? Who is the Nine of Cups? Okay, this is the orange orangutan. You know who I mean, right? This is Ronald McDonald. It's his wish fulfillment to put money into it. I think that he wants to build it up. He's coming out as the emperor. I'm kind of feeling he is trying to work with some dark angelic forces to protect. Here are the angelic forces, please. Fur. 10 of Cups. Yes, this matches what we had on him previously, with the idea of him taking and creating his own version of so this is another so he's coming across his 10 of Cups right now, and it is also with the 9 of Cups, his wish fulfillment. So he's waited a lifetime for this, and this is like his time. He feels it's his time. Creates love between men and women, creates thunder and great storms, and gives answers on divine secrets. So I kind of am feeling a King Solomon kind of feeling about him. And I do feel a connection to him and trying to be like the pharaohs. So I think that he's going to turn it into his like Mecca or something, his military command center. Maybe that is where he's planning to put his base, his military base. There is another place in the mountains, not Cheyenne, in New Mexico, and military base. It says if any unauthorized people try to enter, they will be ended permanently. Is that Area 51 you're talking about? There's a couple areas. There's another area, I think 54, 55. So what I'm getting here, Carrie, is that it's his wish fulfillment and his happily ever after. So I'm kind of wondering if that would be the location. I don't know where he plans on putting that gold dome. The Pentagon would be my first guess, but because they're leaving, I think Langley or CIA and Virginia, I kind of feel that they're all headed towards Colorado. Can you tell me a location, please? I'm getting Illinois and Florida. I had Chicago coming up earlier. Now, he does have Mar-a-Lago. I don't believe it's there. There could be something significant in South Dakota going on. Now, I don't know if Jeffrey's going to pop in or if he's around anymore. I hope he is. We did lose some subscribers. Pennsylvania. Very, very intricate place for military and brotherhood and the Liberty Bell, which we're not, it's like the Statue of Liberty. We're not embracing at this time. There's no liberty and there is no justice for all, right? Vermont's coming across here too. I'm not getting, it did get Nevada. So I don't know if there's anything in Nevada, but right now they're not giving me the particulars. 6 of Cups. Now, I don't know where he has gone in his childhood. I know that he does not like the West Coast. So I'm going to have to engage the starseed connection you have for Cheyenne and New Mexico on the next one. Okay, so we'll have to keep those for the next one. Okay, so we're going to see, do they have anything still going on secretly at Area 51? Is there anything secretly going on at Area 51, please? Knight of Cups, Two of Cups, the Emperor, and the Lovers. You know what? I do think that they do. Yeah, Temperance. They're biding their time before they let anyone see or observe anything. They don't want to put the cart before the horse. I think that is something that they are keeping on the back burner. Both the Lovers and Two of Cups. It's a choice that they're making so they can protect it. So they probably still have instilled or have installed some kind of a protection mechanism to keep people from prying eyes or coming in there. There certainly could be something going on there that would be splicing our DNA or housing. Now, I'm going on a limb here and I'm going to say, because I said not to trust the EM character that has Starlink, but I'm not going to speak of his other products' names, right? But you all probably are aware of Optimus, his robotics that look like humans. They can modelize humans and he can create what looks like a Terminator with a skin layer. This has been seen out there. There are a lot of people who are putting them together across the globe, but he is probably secretly working on them. I think that Area 51 is doing something to that level, and it could actually, maybe not the entire system he is working, but it could actually have an implement area that works on things there. I see a merging between flesh and machine. That's what I see here. So I think they're keeping it on the back burner. They want us to believe they're done. They're not. That's what it looks like. They're not. And to clarify, yeah, Seven of Swords. Yeah, they're taking it underground. So there's probably tunneling in there that they're taking all the really noteworthy stuff and or connectivity matters or data, something that if it was to be seen, it'd be really well hid underground. So 51 is not done. It's not a done deal. It has only one road in and out. Yeah, and I imagine that people will perish if they try to get away, if they say they see something, because that is something that I would assume. Hi, honey. Because, we were talking tires earlier. If you want to, take somebody's tires out, it's all it takes to stabilize them on their trek out. And once they're by foot, they're in danger unless they are shielded by, say, whatever mechanism they would wear to protect themselves. And they say that with some of these technologies they use now, you shouldn't even wear a necklace that's made of a chain. You should wear a rope only, because it can do things to you. It's damaging. I'm working on finding ropes myself that I can change my necklaces to. Some of them do have chains, not all of them, but some of them do, and it's disconcerting knowing. I don't know if you know what I'm speaking on. I can't remember what they say happens, but the metallic in your body, the metal on your body, it can cause you trouble. Now, I'm going to just kind of do this according to memory. Jeffrey Seeker 7 asked about Smithsonian and the giants that they found in America. I don't know about the locations where. Maybe I should look that up. Let me see what I can find here. And giant human skeletons reported in the United States until early 20th century were a combination of hoaxes, scams, fabrications. Okay, we got that from Wiki. But 2 weeks ago, Wiki says the same thing. I'm trying to find. Did the Smithsonian destroy thousands of giant human skeletons? This is Snopes, 2023. A U.S. Supreme Court ruling has forced the Smithsonian Institute to release classified papers dating from the early 1900s that proves the organization was involved in major historical cover-up of evidence showing. Now, I'm looking at Snopes. They're not always a credible place to go on. I would say more than not, they aren't, but we'll just, for argument's sake, just, tongue in cheek, right? They say that the Smithsonian Institute colluded with the unspecified parties to suppress information and providing the existence of giants, and the Supreme Court ruled in 2014 that documentation of the discovery be declassified. In 2015, and I'm just kind of skimming. It says, unlike most fake news stories, this giant skeleton claim is an extant, long-running rumor that refuses to stay dead, rather than recently invented falsehood. You know what? I'm going to go against what Snopes is saying, so I don't think that anything here is credible. I'm just giving an idea of what went on in the news with this. So, anybody that knows, when you want to do a smear campaign on anything, it could be a name, a person, a place, an idea, an event. Anytime you want to do a smear campaign, you create a farce about it. You make it out to be a lie, right? You pour things on it to dirty it. Case in point, I'm not going to give my last name. I know that there are people who maybe know it, or they could, I don't know, but there are a lot of last names out here that could be, say, dirtied from the time prior to birth and generations beforehand, because they know how to do a disservice. Places, people, like I said, because they want to do what I will call wag the dog. In politics, that's what we do. We kind of like, don't look here or look over there, or that there is a lot, you want to discredit something before it has a chance, before it has legs, before it can be heard. It's significant. It needs to be ignored for a reason, because if it were to tell the truth, then everyone would take notice. If they were to take notice, then boom, that would change the paradigm of the mind control of the masses. So back to the skeletons at Smithsonian. That is where I'm going with that. So without going into the reading further, because looking at what digital information gives me, I'm just going to ask Spirit, can you tell me about these skeletons of what look like giants? What is going on with those with the Smithsonian? Nine of Pentacles, 10 of Wands, Queen of Swords. So I do feel the legal system is somehow in connection here. Six of Swords. You know what, Jeffrey, if you're listening to this, I don't know. I'm going to have to get another deck on this, but I got Six of Swords in the cut, and that for me is, I feel like they could have loaded them up by legal, and Seven of Pentacles. Okay, that kind of feels to me like they could have loaded them up and shipped them elsewhere so that they wouldn't be found at the Smithsonian, so they're not located. So almost like to tell us that they've been destroyed. Like say they put them in a fire. They're not important. There's no significance to them. I don't know where they would have shipped them. We have many. There's the Louvre, but right now America and France, Smithsonian. I don't know if that's just Smithsonian. I don't know if it's just America. I think it is, but okay. I'm getting. Hasn't the administration we currently, I should say regime, currently been under, haven't they been connected with Iceland? Because see, what I'm getting here is there's a burden, and that the legal system said either destroy, remove, transfer. I don't know. I think that it's almost like a clandestine kind of thing that was done. And the Nine of Pentacles, I think that there was a lot of value seen in them that they wanted to keep from us discovering or talking about. So they wanted to take them off the table, get them away. Iceland, Smithsonian Journeys. I think that there is a Smithsonian. I think they're all over, aren't they? Encounter Iceland's thrilling geological extremes, from glaciers to still warm lava fields, on an 8-day voyage that includes some of the island's most remote corners. Overview. Okay, Reykjavik is, I think, the capital. I can't remember. I think it is. So I think I recollect, I thought Trump and friends going there, and that's why they want Greenland, because they've already kind of snapped up. Okay, so February the 3rd of this year, there is an NPR recording or report. After Trump's executive order, the Smithsonian will close its diversity office. And January 29th, it says the Smithsonian Institute informed employees on Tuesday it would close its diversity office, freeze hiring at all federal positions. No, wait a minute. Iceland. Are you okay, baby? Are you getting... Okay, honey, we got to go another 40 minutes, okay? We'll be okay. You'll be okay. Yeah, you'll be okay. I know you're just bored at this time. Okay, it looks like Iceland is against him for oppressing Zelensky, creating humiliation and trouble for Zelensky and Ukraine. So they're aligned. So I think that what I'm doing is I'm feeling the, I'm remembering the sense of Iceland, but that's what I got was a cold place. So it could be Switzerland. I don't know how Switzerland is towards him. I know most, and doesn't he have Swiss heritage? Most of this planet is against him now, I think. Okay, Jeffrey, if you come back, I think that what I'm seeing is that they're doing what they can to hide it, maybe move it, the evidence. They're trying really hard to keep it hush or nullify the significance. Yeah, 8 of Cups. They're acting as though that it's gone. They're walking away from it. It's a non-topic. I don't know whether they have it. I got 9 of Pentacles showing up again in another deck. This could mean that they have only one. So maybe they're going to say they destroyed the rest of them, and there's one that they have to check out. I don't know if there's one significant one they found. I don't know. I'll have to research this topic a little bit better to understand what I'm getting, because I see them standing on business, keeping people away from the institute itself. And they are recognizing there's a lot of drama about it, and it's a burden to try to hide it. So they got some under secrecy and say some kind of judge's quarters prior to, I think, things. It could be, what is this legal counsel they had about turning those to another shoreline? Seven of Swords. Yeah, they had to, under the disguise of night, they had to use, oh, they might have actually been working this out during the time. Was this something they did while we were watching other things happen in this country? Nine of Pentacles is a yes, because she's showing up over and over again. Was it during the Venezuela flights? The Tower. Five of Wands. You know what? I think that when he was bringing up the biggest drama, they were, it's the wag the dog kind of move. They were taking 9 out of 10. I'm just giving a loose estimation. There could be one that's still at the Smithsonian. It could be 1 out of 10. It could be 10%. So it might be just one skeleton, but it could be 10% of whatever the amount was we previously had. So they've shipped the rest, yes, outside of the nation. Outside, yeah, I keep on getting fives. They're trying to, the Magician, yeah. The Seven of Swords, the Magician, they're very duplicitous. They're very manipulative with what they're doing. I think that they used a very high stress time while people weren't paying attention to get them out so that they'd only have one left. So there might have been a few that are still there or a few left. We have a few here. They could have donated some to another institute outside of this nation. So, you know, the donation here, donate, they could have donated those specimens to another location that would be like, say, a non-friend of the rest of the planet, right? Just their own group. Yeah, because I have Alice here as well, ALICE, Alice going down the rabbit hole, right? The looking glass. So if there is any legitimacy to these structures, these what look like skeletons, right? The remains, if they're legitimate, they're not dummies, right? If they are true artifacts, right? They donated them to something so that they could maybe, what are they doing with those? They're working together with somebody. I don't know if that means splicing, recreating, cloning. Three of Pentacles, Judgment. Maybe they are trying to, I'm feeling that old movie we had with Jurassic Park. I have Paraguay coming out. Don't know if that's anything. I don't think Paraguay is a very, I don't know. They could be. I don't know very much about them. Vietnam. Bahrain. Bahrain might have some capital and good scientists there. I don't know. So this is going to be one that I want to look into in the future beyond this, okay? So Jeffrey, if you do pop in, I did not ignore this. I'm going to do a little more research. We'll look into this farther. Thank you for bringing it to our attention. It does look to me like he is playing with sharing them and trying to create some kind of new story and or keep them from prying eyes, just like the Area 51 we read on prior. So there's a lot of shadiness going on still with this and Area 51. Okay, so now I am going to present the answer clarifier on the star energy. Is this star who was dosing the one I'm calling Ronald McDonald today? okay, is the star ELON that I see here in the Scrabble. Is that who was dosing? Queen of Swords, Strength, King of Swords. Yes, because these could be injections. Okay, so they were sharing DRUGs. Maybe this is how he did it, through cloak of, oh, let's have fun. Let's do this and that together. Let's see what else we have here. Four of Cups and Nine of Swords. So is it ELON? The Sun. Yeah, the person has been staying in the Lincoln wing of the White House. It is the person that I say owns Starlink. That person has been the one to dose the Orange Nightmare. Okay, so that is to parlay on the first time so this is a different answer. So this is him. So where are we on this dosage? Knight of Wands, Ten of Swords. What is the Ten of Swords? Queen of Swords. And what is the Knight of Wands? So he's giving him like some kind of a accelerant, a upper, a speed, or something that he has gone on record to say he hardly ever sleeps. I think they both have. So the Orange Nightmare, I think, is receiving something that is keeping him going. It's propelling him. So yes, this is going to probably end this person, the one that we call, and I don't know when. So can we get an idea when? Nine of Swords. He needs to have downtime. He needs it. He won't get it. Yeah, he's going to be sacrificed unless he gets downtime, unless he goes and physically rests his body and his mind. Yeah, the Devil come out. So yeah, this is going to be a bitter end for him, and I think that others will. I think that by the way that we're seeing things play out, I don't think Vance is even going to have a chance. I think that the one that's doing the ending of this Orange Nightmare is the one that could step in and take over. Is this true? Ten of Cups. Yeah, that would be the plan. That would be to take over his idea of a happily ever after. So stealing the Orange Nightmare's happily ever after and taking it for himself. Is that right? Nine of Cups. Yeah, he loves the idea. Five of Pentacles to JD. I think JD would be in a very conflictive energy. Like he wouldn't have anybody backing him. He doesn't have any because he has no money. I think that's the basis of this right here. Money is king in this freaking nation, right? So what I see here is it was never Mrs. TRUMP. Never. I got the star and made that assumption because it was her card, but he is, ELON, is the star who is the owner of Starlink. So therefore, star, and he is a known persona who nobody likes at this point. You can be a good star and then turn into a bad star, right? The Death Star, as Darth Vader would be, right? So what I see is the end of one of them and the more power to the other. For he's building behind the scenes. EM is building his structure to take over, to piggyback off what has been done. I saw the Three of Pentacles. So he's working with a different faction, a different group, a different legion. He's working with, I feel he's working with his own very AI. Yeah, I do. I really do. That is part of the bonus that I'm putting at the back of this, and I need to piggyback it. Now, of course, my vision, my view, my abilities to discern are not yours. You may not, whoever's listening, agree, adhere with anything or align with anything I say, I speak. Okay, you don't have to. Do your own research, okay? And you can do your own reading if you have a pendulum, if you have cards, if you get dreams, whatever way you work with spirit, you work with spirit. And we can also work together. I'm not trying to bring out any kind of lie myself, okay? So I have tried to cleanse my energy, my space. I will say this. Don't forget to pray. P-R-A-Y is here, okay? But we also have P-R-E-Y, and recognize what is the pray, okay? Because the pray is what is the fodder for those that are trying to do what they're doing. But as far as my readings go, I incorporate a great many things when I do them. And sometimes, yes, grabbing facts out there in the wild. That may be not always true. There is one bit of thing that I have to say that I think could be AI. And, you know, like I said, deep fake. I want you all to remember anything you see on a video, anyone you hear speaking, you watch their lips moving, they could be a fake human. It could be AI incorporated. It could be a deep fake video. And it is very hard at this point to discern. Sometimes it's slippery and it sounds silly. Yes, but there's sometimes it doesn't. Let me go back to, if you have been a person who has been into the Terminator series, the second film, which we finally see her broken out, Sarah Connor, out of a she's broken out of a high clearance or security, I should say, not clearance, security mental hospital, because they think she's just plain on crazy, right? And they break her out. It's the Terminator, played by Schwarzenegger, and now he is a good guy. You know, he's protecting John Connor as a child because he was programmed to do so. And the character in which it's the cybernetic bot, if you will, the cybernetic human, because they're meant to look human and they're cybernetic, that's the term, is played by Sean, I want to say Patrick, Irish actor. Anyways, he is the one who is trying to find the Connors, okay? Anyways, the point I'm making is, if you've seen the franchise, you know the movie I'm speaking of. The mimicry is off the chain. By the time the second movie come out, he could turn himself into the likeness of anything, that he could model himself against anything. He'd go into a school for a bunch of teenagers if, say, the kid wanted him to, and portray that of the principal saying, oh, you're off the hook. You go home. You don't have to be here this week. You know, he could, that's the low level. I'm not talking about, you know, he could be the warden of a prison and let everybody out. You know, he could do anything. He could be anybody. He could emulate, right? So, voices. As you know, I am very preferential. That's all you get pretty much with me. I don't really show my image out here. But voices are another story unto themselves. They can be also emulated. So I want you all to, who listen to me, be very cautious. Very cautious, because I don't want to be mimicked, stolen, lied about, lied with my own sound. But I want you to be aware. I'm going to let you hear this from the second film, just a little clip. You can get it on YouTube. It is Terminator 2 Judgment Day from 1991. The capability of these beings, which are right now becoming a reality, you'll have to understand after I get to the end of this video to understand this better. But right now, as you know, the deepfakes are coming out and they're all over the place now. I'm sure you've seen them in some way, some modality. They are in your face somewhere in the algorithms. You've seen them. Here we have John Connor and the cybernetic bot speaking to each other, and they're going to make a call. I want you to hear this.
Hello? Yeah, it's me. John? Yeah. Everything all right? Are you guys okay? Are you all right? It's fine. John, it's late. Honey, I was beginning to worry about you. If you hurry home, we can sit down and have dinner together. I'm making beef stew. Something's wrong. She's never this nice. John? Where are you?
The hell is the goddamn dog barking at? Hey! Shut up, you worthless piece of shit!
The dog's really barking.
I thought you were gonna tell the kid to get rid of that fucking mutt.
John, honey, it's late. Please don't make me worry. Will you be there? Honey, are you okay? I'm right here. I'm fine. You sure? Are you sure you're all right?
What's the dog's name?
Max. Hey, Janelle. What's wrong with Wolfie? I can hear him barking. Is he okay? Wolfie's fine, honey. Wolfie's just fine. What are you?
Foster parents are dead.
Okay, so let me explain what you did not see because there's no visibles there. The woman talking on the phone was the new model robot or cybernetic. Liquid steel, it could turn into whatever likeness it chooses. You know, like it's like able to modelize anything. Okay, so she was not the foster mother on the other end of the phone, and the boy who is being the character of John Connor as a child, you know, he's like 13 or so. Arnold Schwarzenegger was speaking for him on the phone, asking about how's Wolfie, because he also tricked the other bot, the other AI, right, by using a fake name, because the foster mother would know the name of that. Anyways, the point I'm making is that right now that's where we are. That character is more dangerous than anyone knows, and we are not witnessing, Carrie, you're right. I see what you wrote. We are not witnessing just him wanting to rule America. He wants to take over the world. This is 007 stuff on steroids mixed with Terminator. So I'm going to read a little bit about things on the actually, hi, Kumari, how are you? I'm going to be out for just a moment. I'm going to pause, and then I'm going to finish with the post that I put out. And after I do that, then I'm going to share with you all what I learned. That is the bonus part of this particular stream. So I'm going to mute for a few minutes. Please be patient. Go ahead and chat with each other, okay? I'll be back. I'm back. There was some previous cards that I pulled out. I'm going to read real quick. And I'm not going to really go into them all the way because we do have to go to that post that I was going to go to for Egypt and some of the other data that we have. But I have torture, Congress, butterfly, and abuse. Those were in a portion that was in the prior read. I feel this has something to do with the butterfly effect, what Congress has done, and it's led to torture and abuse. Now, I think that has to do with Panama, or not Panama, El Salvador. The story we have leaked on the people who have been taken away. So I'm going to read these out loud, and then I may have to keep a few out. I think that we want to keep Moscow out. I feel it's somehow related to something. We have pot of gold, premeditated. Okay, so I think that is Ronald McDonald premeditating his wanting to liquefy and classify all the wealth he can get his grubby hands on as his. I think there's a Draco involved. So has anybody thought of him being Draco or a Draco running him? I don't think he has self-awareness, or I don't know. We have a laser. I don't know if it's connected to Moscow or if they're running some kind of laser based in Moscow to threaten us here. Hey, Jackie, how are you? I have Zimbabwe. I'm putting that down. Prior, actually, I read on that. That seems to be about the cars, the frequency-based cars. That was a really good story. Anybody remember that? We have 1 p.m. Something is going to happen at 1 p.m., or it did. We have something about the flood. Okay, so there's a trial. There's a trial centered around some kind of flood or something involving a flood, reconnecting a community, a chain of command, something to do with TikTok, the app. I want to say because of the kind of talk we've had previous on here, there could be a question about a menu. Somebody is looking at lasers or stockpile military kind of things as assets, people who can operate these things as assets, maybe related to Moscow. A new version of a laser, maybe. I could look into that. We have obelisk. That could have something to do with our Egyptian reading we're going to do. Global. Maybe the global obelisks. Maybe they're kind of like the pyramids. Maybe they're strategically laid all over the place. We have Cleopatra's Needle, and we have different ones. I'm doing okay. I've had better times. How's Ohio been? Is it pretty cold? So there's some kind of permission granted. I kind of wonder if this has something to do with him coming into... There is a clock tower that I'm going to look into later. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to strip this amount of cards I have down so that there'll be another part. This is to be continued, of course, because there's just so much. This is like weighty. We have Cage. Now, I don't know if this has something to do with maybe a film Nicolas Cage did. He did some really, really powerful films in his later days. And so it could have something to do with like, there was one he did where he sells like weapon heads. He's born in Russia. He might be born in Moscow. I'm not sure. I might have to look into that one because I thought about that. Jared Leto was with him in one. I can't think of the title. Very prominent war kind of centric film, like Mobsters meets war. We're in the 40s where I am, and it's supposed to be warming up, but it really does feel cold. We have Collapse. There is something I want to talk about too. I'm going to bring up. Maybe some of you aren't aware. I want to talk about it, but I'm just going to kind of touch on it a little bit. Something about a scuba diver. I don't know if I need to look into that farther. there's a counterstrike. So I know that the Ukraine and Russian borders are fighting each other with tactical damages, I believe. There's a betrayal, a warning, strategic. So half of these are going to get put away. I'm going to find out what vanished. Cartel. Somebody wants to end some other country or some other leader. Something's going to happen in the fall. If you have a chance and can, and you have a significant something or rather you'd like to read, maybe Snowden is going to put out maybe some memoirs. Maybe it's time he decided to put out memoirs. I got it twice. Okay, so I'm putting these back. Is there something that we can get more on Snowden and memoirs, please? Something about a multicolored butterfly. I don't know what that means when it comes to symbology. Okay, so Snowden and the memoirs, I'm just curious about that. And we don't, when I think of him, I think of Julian Assange too. Okay, so we have a pile of cards that I'm holding on to. We'll see what we can get through. I'm going to go to the post area and read the recent things that I said I would speak on. Okay, so Mount Shasta is something that we were supposed to talk on. Can I get some of my own energy, please, on Mount Shasta? What can we find out about Mount Shasta, please? And deflector. Winters. Carrie, are you here? Carrie, I'm wondering if there's an Egyptian connection to Mount Shasta. Because I have Ptah, P-T-A-H, and that's one of, I think, the Egyptian, right? God of Egypt, right? Let me see what I can get here.
In the complex religion of ancient Egypt, Ptah was considered one of the mightiest deities of the Egyptian pantheon. Known as the creator god who brought all things into being, Ptah was held in special regard by the people of Egypt, and was also known as the patron god of craftsmen and architects. Ptah was originally worshipped as the local deity of Memphis, but as the city of Memphis rose in power and became the capital of Egypt during the First Dynasty, the worship of Ptah surged to prominence, and Ptah came to be celebrated throughout all of Egypt. As Memphis's role expanded throughout Egypt, so did reverence for Ptah's power. Ptah's companion was the warrior goddess Sekhmet. Ptah and Sekhmet together...
Okay, I think we have an idea here. Yes, he's the creator. I did study on him. I think architecture has something to do with him too. We have winters. I'm going to say that I think that they do deflecting, and they play the people with Mount Shasta until winter, till it's too cold, because I think it does collect snow around it, doesn't it? So I think that they do something to manipulate, control what we see or we discern at Mount Shasta, unless it's wintertime. Can I get more on that, please? So I would say right about now, Pisces season, right? No, we just left Pisces season. So right about the time that we leave Aquarius, they start changing. So there's a window of time Mount Shasta is actually most prominent. And I happen to get a Eight of Swords here, where there's a castle and a Eight of Swords. She's blindfolded, and there is actually snowy mountains in the background. So Ptah being architecture. I'm wondering if they did some kind of implementation there. Has it ever been noted that Mount Shasta changes its image, its visuals? Does it change in some way, or is it just things that are seen coming and going? The Stonehenge card just showed up too. So that kind of tells me that this is like there's something very antiquitous that's maybe in there. The multicolored butterfly is seen as transformation, rebirth, and or personal growth. Thank you. I live not far from the snowy mountains. So it is snowy there during part of the year, right? The Mount Shasta? Because there is a legacy that is antiquitous that might be related to the Druids and stretch over to Egypt. So Egypt, you know how they had the Irish or the Celtic blonde-haired mummies that were supposed to be Egyptian? It kind of feels like a connection between both places. There's something that they're housing there. So they keep it shut down so that during the thawed out times, people can't see it. So if it's too cold, too hard to get to, it's more prevalent, there's more coming from it, or being discerning during the colder times, or it's more active in the colder times because it's not as easy to approach, possibly. Can you tell me more about Mount Shasta? Glass slipper. Glass slipper. What is that? Your turn. So they make it so that deflector, I'm feeling that they use some kind of an image technology to keep people from coming too close during times that are better. You know, like warmer weather, safer to drive that route if they're using a car. Okay, you know what I'm kind of feeling? Mount Shasta might be somewhere that is similar to what the Grand Canyon used to be. They've stuck. Yeah, the Gaines. When you think of a pirate who steals, like go back to what Jeffrey asked about the Smithsonian Institute, right? When you think about a pirate that takes away some antiquities that are very worthwhile of having, they might put them in Mount Shasta because no longer do we have locally in the American, map, right? We don't have another place like what the Grand Canyon was. Climbing. So people have tried to climb Mount Shasta to get in there. I don't know. I saw climbing. It's very tempting to look inside, so they try to make it, they do something to deflect, to do some kind of cloaking, some kind of image technology. They use certain also mechanisms that maybe they used by Ptah for the structure within. So say it's like a labyrinth in there or something like this, because he was creative with structures, architecture. So they ski on it. Somebody has gone climbing on there, and I'm kind of feeling that they tried to get in there. By disguise, they were acting as though they were I got the name Jessica. If anybody, I'm thinking Jessica Rabbit, but somebody could be named Jessica. I think I was pulling from the wrong box here. There was a delivery driver. What is this delivery driver? The delivery driver. Can I get more on them? There may have been a delivery driver that saw something and they've been threatened. Because I saw the Ten of Swords and I saw the Nine of Wands and delivery driver threatened. So somebody knows something about Mount Shasta that was not military, or they had any kind of clearance to share anything. I got starseed. Carrie, do you have a specific starseed question you want me to ask? Because this is like telling me to talk about starseed. So I don't know if this has something to do with Draco, because I said that I thought they were running the regime of the one we have now here. But is there a question for starseed you want me to ask? So I don't think that all year round though it's snowy. I mean, when I went, it was like April, May, and it only looked like it was blanketed a little with snow. So it didn't look like it was high peak season. So it would have been better, but more discernible. So the more snowy it is, even though there's activity for skiers, I would guess would be harder to get in there unless you're somebody who really knows what you're doing. But if you're under a microscope there, nothing you do won't be, unseen, right? Okay. With this deck, I just think star seeds are in the military bases, working with them or being held there for bad reasons. So you mean the positive star seeds, the ones that are like the Lyrans and the star seeds that are not of warring factions like the Dracos and Orions, right? The Orion group is a nasty group, and so are the Dracos. And the Dracos come from so many. And actually, the cradle was Lyra, but are there star seeds in the military bases now? Okay, I got you. I got you. On the crossbreeding, you're right. We got temperance, and it's the two goblets running together, infinity merging. Actually, I'll do one you better on this. This is like locking the DNA in place so that it is continuous. It can't be untethered. There are so many books in the background here too, and that would, for me, express the codons, heritage, akashic, everything interconnecting. And yeah, kind of like what I didn't really watch a lot of the Dark Crystal, the last one that come out, the Skelkies and all that, the Gelfings and the Skelkies. I can't remember. They are trying to merge, splice together infinity worth of two goblets coming together. So that is like saying, let's just say for argument's sake, right? Let's say the devil and the highest angel of good, right? To coming together and mastering a birth of one child. So when good and bad come together and they put that gene together, it's becoming a one life, right? One being, one creation. They're merging it. They're changing They're tweaking the DNA. So you know how they can do what they want to with these like IVF births. And okay, that was something that I spoke on previously. Now I was going to talk on that again too, about the eggs. The egg is a big deal. Okay. Let me also explain something about eggs as far as the ones that come from chickens before I get there. Do you know what they're actually doing against American citizens or anybody that comes across this nation's border right now? They're creating a high crime against bringing eggs from other countries. So if you come from Mexico, Canada, you know, combined nation, you know, connected nation, and you bring them, it's a higher crime than it is to have fentanyl, right? It's higher. They care more about the egg than they do that. So this is like precedence on the egg. War on the egg. What does that tell you? Yeah, and the IVF, he's sanctioning himself to be the one that's going to, it's like the Handmaid's Tale on steroids. The egg is where it's all at. Now, Easter's coming up. That's going to be very prominent for us on the world stage. I see the full, whole new beginning. So some changes coming along with this. He wants to instigate. So maybe what you're saying, you're on the target there, Carrie. Maybe this is what's happening with us as humans. Some of us will be machine, like cybernetics that I was speaking on with the Terminator idea. And others of us will be coming in with sanctioned carbon footprints. When I say that, I mean we will be approved of or disapproved of based on our egg, based on our origin, based on if it was IVF, based if we paid, based if we were from the right line. The eggs are all about it. And I want to say one last thing. A couple things come to mind when I kept on hearing about the egg prices when he first got in the seat that he stole. I am the Eggman. Beatles. I am the Eggman. I am the Eggman. Yeah, if you know the song, it's called I Am the Walrus, but you hear I Am the Eggman so often. And any kid who grew up, any child who grew up at any time in their lifetimes, and they were young enough to have fairy tales, folklore, you know, what are the, not fairy tales, the other one, folk stories, I think, or the ones that are usually about animals, things like that. Anyways, we had Humpty Dumpty. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. Humpty Dumpty, I can't remember how it all goes, but I'm going to say he cracked. He went all over the place, right? He needed to have all the king's horses and all the king's men to put him back together again. Well, guess what? Our dictator-in-chief, if you will, has a fragile ego. That's what that's about. It's going to take all the king's horses. So all those supporting, back to Jenga. Please educate yourself on how that works, because the weaknesses in there are where we will win this war. Taking parts that they want. Yes, and strengths and wisdoms and the heritages, so they can mimic and pretend to be who they are not, because they're stealing it. They could even mimic. It might be that they would actually nullify with away with the good side. Say, strip out the good side, just let it go into a fire. You know, say we don't need it. And this could be essences. And I'm just going to win you better on this one. And I'm not doing this because I want to. This is not me saying, okay, I want to believe in some fantasy fairy tale. It is not. This is where we are. They could be implementing a way to take the good side of both of them. And you know, when you take a capsule and you throw all the ingredients in the capsule, you put it in a bottle and sell it, and there it is, a product, right? They could actually put it into a robotic costume, merge it to AI merging to those facets which were originated by the two factions, good and bad. The whole thing could be a blending, a melting pot, if you will. There is so much sorcery at this, I can't even, with tech, it's blending. Tech and sorcery, it's blending. Yes, Yes. Have you seen Nothing But Trouble? I want to put a clip if I can find it, because there's a song that he did called the Humpty Dumpty Dance. In it, Bobo and Little Devil, and Digital Underground was a band, an R&B band, rap, if you will, back in the 90s. And when they put out the song Humpty Dance, it goes back to, it's kind of Humpty Dumpty, right? It's based on a character in the film that is from 1991 called Nothing But Trouble. It was Dan Aykroyd, Chevy Chase, John Candy, and Demi Moore. My Canadian friends here have to know who John Candy is, at the very least. Here's what they say. They say, get spooked silly when Chevy Chase and Demi Moore take a wrong turnpike, exit and find hanging Judge Dan Aykroyd and Constable John Candy in a bizarre new. There's no more there, but I just wanted to see if I could. Nothing But Trouble, Humpty. Get over, get under. Oh, baby, you hit me like thunder. Get over, get under, get into. So that's like getting in the skin, getting under on one, getting in the skin. And then it says, that's it, fellas. So they're going in there, and then the Humpty Dance is done. But Humpty Dumpty, they're singing to Dan Aykroyd because he's this like deplorable judge that's like the character America is being run by now. And he has a fragile ego. So they're kind of like gaslighting him, singing the song to make him feel, like he's being pushed up, So anyways, if you know the movie, you know what I'm speaking of. I have to go back into, I took myself out just a moment. I have to get back in. It takes a little time because, oh shoot, there we go. Okay. There we are. I'm back. So anyways, so we have Ptah for Mount Shasta. Back to it. We have them using some kind of maybe they used a little bit of Stonehenge meets Egyptian mythology to create some kind of illusion work that they work with for Mount Shasta to keep people out, to deflect. So to finish that off, Gary, I think something is going on where there are artifacts that they're keeping there that could reach from these different regions. It could be what also was Smithsonian, as well as Grand Canyon, anything else they stole within the regions, right? It's a housing place of. Now back to the starseeds, you're right. And as far as flesh beings, I kind of feel they're stripping us of our flesh being. So maybe this is our exits out. They are watching an America who is who. So in the rest of the world, I'm not sure if your people in charge, wherever you may reside, could be doing this, or if people are noted to go missing, like human trafficking happens like all over the planet. Maybe there is a place that it's a higher quantity, but they also are looking into our Akashic records. This is a disturbing thing I found out. Hey, Tendi, how are you? This is a disturbing thing I found out, and I'm really upset because I can't remember her name. I thought she went by Spiritual Warrior. There is a woman who was involved in the acting world in Hollywood, and she's down in California. And she's a reader, she's spiritual. She was on YouTube. I have not heard from her or seen her on my algorithm, and I've forgotten what her title was. And I don't know if her channel was taken away. I'll have to go through and see if I see any of her videos. She used to talk in her car. She left Hollywood because she knew they were hunting her. That's what she said. And I don't know her story real well. I think her name might have been Lauren. I could be wrong. She had blonde hair. She was probably in her 40s. Well, not later, I'd say younger 40s maybe. I'm doing okay, Tandy. Thank you. It's nice to see you. And she had done a reading. And she got downloads. She was actually very good at energy work. She needed more. She worked more than with just a pendulum and cards. She really got involved. There's some kind of training she had. Now, I couldn't tell you where she got it or what it entailed, but she understood layers. Some people understand things that have to do with seeing the outside the body, you know, the auric field and everything beyond, right? She could see things. She could sense things. She could suss things out in a way that was much deeper than what I am, you know, accustomed to myself. But she was trained, and I think she might have been a super soldier. I could be wrong. She was trained by a certain group that she tried to get away from. And it could have been the Kruger group. These are the ones that do the forward and backwards. I don't know if you know the thing I'm talking about here. But she was giving intel out to people that would come to her channel, and she seems to have gone. I don't know if she's gone into hiding on her own. If they've done something to silence her, I don't know what happened. The last video I got, she said that they did something to cloak, hide, usurp our Akashic records, lock them down away from us or something like this. She said something like this. Now, I don't understand how to read the Akashics myself, but I don't know how much truth there is to that. I was feeling like my spirit guides had directed me to her because I felt like she was speaking truth. She wasn't woohoo. She was really on the target there. She could have gotten herself in danger by trying to tell people too much, or maybe she had to go into hiding. I don't know. But if you know who she is, let me know. Oh, thank you so much, Cindy. How is it in your part of the world? Are you warm there? Okay. The pyramids, the batteries underneath. I think I'm going to do questions about that. I'm going to ask it point blank, though, if it's related to us being locked in the matrix, if that is part of this structure that locks us in. Okay, that's how I'm going to ask that. You moved to the UAE. Oh, wow. It's warm here right now. Was that a long move? Congratulations. I hope you're happy where you moved to. But a bit cold during the next night. Oh, okay. Kind of like how Iran is. Iran's hot, but then it's cold because there's snow that happens in Persia, formerly known Persia. Can I find out, please, do you have any information you can share with me on those batteries on the other side of the pyramids? Does it have to do with our matrix, please? Two of Wands. Yeah, we have Two of Wands with what looks like somebody who is very high ranking, looking at the globe, watching the globe, like controlling. And the Emperor, I felt that. Yes, they are. So this is connecting the batteries on the other side of the pyramids. Is this worldwide? Is this how we're locked into the matrix? The Chariot. What is the Chariot? Oh, wow. Really? Did you really want to go that route? They gave me the whole deck. They just threw them out. Judgment. Okay, whoa, just a moment. So they're telling me to take the ones that landed on the floor and the ones that hid. Wow, there were two that hid. Is that all? The Hermit, the Page of Pentacles were the two hiding. And the sun and the Four of Swords were on the by my foot. So clarification, rebirth, Hermit, Page of Pentacles. The Hermit, he's going down, not up. I just want to note this. Usually the Hermit is on his way into a well, he does come out of his cabin, but there is he does. But this one, they're focusing on rocks. I know there was limestone and there was granite down below in under the pyramids, but this is like not necessarily just in Egypt when we speak. On I think my husband stole my looking glass, and I don't know where it would be at. Oh, there it is. Okay. Luckily, he had it in plain sight. I think I meant to find it. The sun is shining now, too, and we have the sun here. So I think that this could be an indication that I'm supposed to learn this right now, because the sun is coming out. We have a sun card that's double exposure. So these fell out, and I have to say, usually you have like only like one or a couple sunflowers, but in some decks you have several, but this one is surrounded in sunflowers for the sun and the red flag that they've got the little boy and girl. So it's two entities, not one on the horse, or sometimes it's just a little boy. But what I'm going to say with this feel, I'm getting some of you have heard about the sun and how real is it? Is it a portal, this, that, and the other? And you know how, like, if this is a matrix, what are the sun? What are the moon? What are the secrets about these things? I think this is what it's telling me, because with the chariot, we have the sun and the moon here, because he has a sun over his little canopy. Then there's a crescent moon also. So this is a matrix situation. The batteries underneath have something to do with what makes our world. The illusions that we see, everything that we... So go back to Neo. You know the matrix, you have to. Most people do. If you don't, I guess maybe it's up to you to decide. Like I said, I can't make anyone believe whatever I believe, right? But there is something here to be said, that this is a matrix situation. They threw these cards at me, so I'm just trying to figure out what they're saying with this. Oh, this is not normal. Okay, with the Page of Pentacles, she fell by my foot. If anyone wants to know, it was my left foot. That kind of harkens for me back to Ireland, because there was a film way back called My Left Foot, which was a movie and a book. Okay, but Page of Pentacles, she's opening a book, and it's a blank slate. And you know how the Matrix, like plugs us in, like we're batteries, right? The batteries are running the entire the place around us, right? This illusion that we live in, right? Okay, so it does feel to me like that's a yes. Because the first card we had that I purposely got, and then it was clarified with the Emperor, which is like the controller, right? Was the Two of Wands. He's holding a globe. As in to see, have you ever seen an architect who walks around and he's got these long tables and he's got these little models of cities, and or somebody who say like a person who would go to war, and then they're saying and they're showing with a distribution of, say an instrument of a pin or something to point at this or that angle where we're going to hit, how we're going to do this or that. They use models, right? This is what I see the connection here. The bottom of the pyramids, they're all connected somehow. They all align a specific way, and they are all involved in locking us where we are in the matrix. That's what I'm seeing. I don't know, Tendi. I can't tell you. I'm honestly, it's kind of nail biting over here. Thank you for caring to ask. Yeah, it is nail biting here. I was wishing that we could break away. You know what I feel, and I don't have any kind of authority here at all. I'm just nobody, okay? But I had felt and thought and spoken, but I've gotten no tread from anyone. The blue states are supposed to be the more wealthy ones, and I belong to one of those. And I was trying to get people who would listen to me on the comments or somewhere. Maybe we should break away. Maybe blue should start, saying, okay, no more. We won't fund you. No more. And the red would have to either acquiesce, come back to the blue, or, decide what side they want, right? But if they're people who rely on the system which they paid into, they believed in, their forefathers fought for, died for, bled for, then they should be able to, if they want to, go to the blue side. And maybe, that'd be up to them. But I don't think a lot of the blues trust, honestly, those people that prop this up. I don't know. My personal opinion would be that if the coastline I live on were to merge together either with Canada or with themselves, that we would be better off. That's my personal feeling, my personal wish. I really don't want to feed this monster anymore. I don't like what's going on. I don't like how we're involved in hurting other people. The threats, I don't enjoy it. It hurts me. It really pains me. And it scares me. And I'm a person who, when I first saw Braveheart, I had no idea that I had actual, Celtic, Scottish kind of energy in my bloodline, right? I knew I had Welsh. I knew I had, I didn't even know I had Irish. I knew I had Scots. I did know that to some level, but I never thought that there could be a drop of me that would even feel a reverberance for when he said freedom, when he screamed it in the air. But when I first saw that film, and I was in my young 20s, and I wasn't well educated at the time. No, I wasn't at all. I mean, you could even say that I was a flunky. Literally, you could say I was a flunky. I mean, anything that you might think of me as intellect in any way, if I do carry it out, if it can be denoted by anyone, if it is something that's not my imagination, it is because I have put my wherewithal to studying in my prior years as becoming an older person. I would say, well, I've been actually learning things as much as I could outside of the education system. But when I saw that film, and he said freedom and he screamed it, I felt it in my core. I felt shivers go down my body. I could feel my heart completely like feeling what he felt. That was the empathy in me partly, but I think that it was the understanding, not just say what I might share like in heritage, but my understanding that nobody should have their freedom stolen. Nobody. It made me very sad. Another movie that I saw later, which would be science fiction, but it feels like fact, was when young Anakin was his mother and him were in slavery, and they were products, they were property to some dealer, smarmy dealer that looks like one of our people that are in our regime now. And so that was depressing to me. There are a lot of films that, depicted, and books, that depict I don't believe anyone should be owned, treated like they are non-persons or they belong to another, individual. It makes me sad. Where we are now, I am so sad. I'm disheartened. I'm scared for everybody. Do you mind my asking, Tendi, where you moved from before you went to UAE? I've known people that lived all over, that visited here, lived here from all over the globe. I've known a lot of people from those areas. That's why I'm just curious. Okay, so can I find out what was the tunnel or town? What was it below those batteries, please? What are below? Are those the architects? Who are the ones that were in those towns or tunnels under those pyramids, please, in Giza? The world. Could not find a better card for that one. And judgment. So those that you would think would be in control of the world we're in today. So if you want to call them God, if you want to call them, I would say this feels more like God, but those that would put us in this paradigm. I just want to say that I don't believe that a loving God would do this to us. So that is what I'm going to say on how I feel about this. But O could be the origins. Can you tell me more? That we're locked out of this place. There's something about this place, like our origins, and until Judgment Day, we're not allowed to go down there. That is probably the place that some speak of as Hyperborea, the inner earth. Maybe is that the inner earth? King of Cups. What is this? King of Cups? Okay, I'm seeing in my mind's eye right now, because I have justice, but the way it's coming out, also Lady in Red, it resolves for me also, or resonates in some way with Sekhmet. I think Lady in Red, I think she was also considered the one in red as well. Yeah, this is kind of feeling like Mat and Anubis weighing the feather and deciding who goes and who doesn't, and who, justice, judgment, are feeling synonymous here with the judgment showing up. We got both, and then locked out until. So yeah, we're in the planetary system we're in. It is a matrix system. When we're born by our mother's womb, that's the matrix, right? We come through the portal of our mother. That's a matrix. So yes, our creator, our origin that we come from. So what would be Hyperborea, or what would feel like the afterworld, the glowing light one, the one that's of pureness, would be the one below there. She doesn't. I'm kind of wondering if I'm feeling a sense of her protecting, like prowling around. You know how she was when they fed her the beer? They tainted they painted, they did something to the water of the beer, the fluids, they made it red because she was bloodthirsty and she would drink it and get drunk. Remember, she would sleep a long time, and it hurts me to know about what's happening to the country, because the USA is the country I love the most, and the people there. I don't know why I feel like I was born there somewhere in time, and what's going on with the people there right now hurts me when I think and hear about it. Tendi, I'm really sad because I don't know if you know of the people. If it wasn't not propaganda right now, I'm kind of feeling it's true. I would feel hurt either way, but more so if it's true. I have to err on the off chance it is true, because they are scandalous. They're low. They are capable, and this is the low down snake action time right now. So what would you think right now, right? If a snake's going to be low, it would do dirty things. It would do things that are slimy. It would do things that are not they're reprehensible. They're not forgivable, right? So we have people, I don't know if you all know, you might, people who were stolen and put on planes, and they were said to be gang members, and they did not get any jury or any justified legal counsel, nothing, no trial, nothing. They were sent away and basically put to their very end, because apparently, from what we're hearing, they won't let them go until they're gone, till the end of their lives. My heart is breaking for these people, and the people that are right now. We don't know about what ICE is doing. I can't tell you how disheartened it's been for me to just know where we are, and just, yes, I'm beyond disheartened. It's just, for me, there is no victory until this regime's gone. There's nothing like it here anywhere. To me, that would be victory. I don't like what's happening here. I want all of the lives that were affected in any capacity, no hair on the head, hurt. But I don't get jurisdiction. I have no power here. So prayer is all I have. And that's all I have. Yeah, they turned her into that anger cat. She went from Bastet to the purring little pussycat who could create life and be creative, and fertility issues be erased, and she could bring life, right? To that Prouse, that she's a flip side. She can be both. So the ones that don't get privilege to go down below get the Tower and 8 of Cups. So kind of seeing the visual in my mind's eye now of the Lake of Fire. Kind of like what Arnold Schwarzenegger went into in movie 2 in the saga. Because for him, it was like lights out. There was not a way to create another version of him. That unit was done. There was no coming back. That unit was formally gone. That's why in the third film, that if I recollect, there's things about him that you just couldn't bring back. It was programmed in the second one and destroyed. Yes, she is the daughter of Ra. And Ra is the sky god who Aquarius, if I recollect, is denoted with, right? I do understand from the best what I heard from the best. Yes, I do understand to the best of what I've heard. Tandy, people in America are usually peaceful people, but I think our downfall here, and you might see it, you might understand it, is materialism and greed. Some people could not get enough lust for more, and opulence and wealth, and at the price of others. America become so strong because we had a melting pot of people. And now that very thing that made us what we were, they want to strip us from and make us into NAZIs. I'm sorry, but I love people of all shades. It just doesn't float with me. If we turn into a full-fledged fascist nation that is like Germany back in the late 20s into the late 30s, or even into the early 40s, I don't know when it was finally done, but if we turn into that, I just kind of feel like my time is over. I don't want to be here for that kind of, I don't want to be somebody that they keep around for whatever purpose they want. I don't want to belong to somebody like know me as parts or property, or I don't want to be a non-human. I really am I'm very sickened by where we are. And it's unbelievable to me every day that I get up. It has not changed yet, that it keeps on going like this. Yeah. And if anybody should be angry at us, Canada and Greenland should be at the top of the line right there. But besides them, I would say that, okay, as an empathic person, speaking through the empath, abilities I have, I would say if I was a German from Germany, I would say that if I was somebody in Britain, Normandy, any of the places that this bullshit, I'm using the word, sorry if I'm offending anybody. When I do, I'm saying it like Nancy did because that's who I'm hearing it in my mind's ear, okay? I hear her saying it in that one scene where she says it in Stranger Things. Those places that were invaded by the little mustache during that time, they should be the maddest at us right now, besides Canada and Greenland and anyone else we were trying to cause trouble to, threats to. And I want you all to know that it's not us, the people. I think most of you know that. And I'm not part of that. I'm not a fascist. I would never be. That's not how I operate. I think I lost somebody out here. I lost several of you. I probably cussed too much. I'm sorry. I'm hearing that in my mind's ear. Okay. Some of the things that are coming out on the internet, people are talking about, there's videos out there you can find. Some of them have been, and I don't have right now anything to share with you, but you can locate it on your own. There are lights that have gone out. The grid has gone down in particular parts of the world. Latin speaking, I think a lot of it mostly. This had something to do with lights that were seen in the sky. Some people call them UFOs. Okay, some of these things have been happening. Now, are they military? Are they UFOs? Are they Starlink? I have had some kind of concerns that it could be Starlink, and they put everyone in the dark. They made everyone think it was a woo-woo experience, and Starlink is trying to open, extend its strength, its ability, its stretch, its reach. I think this might have been doing you a favor for your country, Canada, Carrie. From what you typed there, that makes sense. We have 3 states, I think, that is going to be mostly afflicted. From what I understand now, our power bills have been going up. They say that they're making us carry the weight because they're saying something along the lines of, how do I say this? They're saying a lot of the U.S. cities are carrying electric charges that are going to come out in the summer, so that the winter they weren't charged that much. But I don't believe that is any kind of truth. My mother didn't get as high a bill as I did. My husband and I had a really big bill, which with the new heater, it should not have been. There was an event that he had that I walked into, and I don't know whether that would make it that high, but I had been asleep because I'd pulled an all-nighter reading or something last month. And I got up on a weekend day, and there he had the stovetop on, and it burned the water down to nearly nothing. So I don't know how long it was on, and I don't know how much power we would have gone through for that. We had been using our heater at 70, 71 to keep the place warm because of the cracks around here and everything. This place is not insulated well. Now we're down into the mid-60s because we can't afford, and we might actually be drastically reduced on the money that we carry in our home. So if you see that I finally have my donations, it isn't a joke. I probably am going to be very needful. That is going to be in the next couple weeks if it happens. Delaware and Wisconsin are huge players in what 𝐒𝐢𝐭𝐡, the African whatever is trying to sell and usurp power through judges and votes and everything else. And we do have Delaware here, DELAWARE, and DELA, also law, and they are trying to ruin the law here. And then also I was speaking on the opulence. We have ornate here, ORNATE. Yeah, people who have lavish taste, that's what they're spending the money on. So the Golden Dome, what state are we? What state are we supposed to see this Golden Dome at? Can you tell me? I don't think it's California. We got California and Missouri. I don't think I'm getting a true answer out of this. So I'm going to come to that another time. I'm going to do a little research on it. Does anybody want to hear the bonus that I have? I think that we have spoken a bit on the batteries, the matrix, and the pyramids. Is anybody into the bonus material? Bonus material happened to me on accident last week. I'm not from the USA, but my aim in life when I was a kid was to be a U.S. Army. I've always loved the country and its people. And now I've come to the point to love the people with pure hearts. Oh, Tindy, thank you. That caused the Maui fires. I don't know. That burns everything except things that are blue color. You're right. Yes. The lasers are colorblind to blue. They will totally negate blue. So they skip over. Their target is never blue. So we're living in a place where we have no power over anything like that. So it's like we lose everything. We don't own the property under us. And so, you may well guess that that means that we rent the land we're at. And that is the truth. I'm very upset about that. I have no say over it. So we have to grab a knapsack if it happens here and get out. If we get out with our lives, if we make it out before, it consumes us, right? We don't have very good ventilation where I am either. So we could be inhalated with smoke and it could put us out. It could be my final resting place where I'm at. But if it were to be a fate I don't want, that's what I'm asking for. I just don't want my boys, my sons, my 2 fur babes. I don't want them to perish. And, I would like us just to fall asleep and have an ending that would be painless, right? Yeah. But those are DEW weapons, directed energy weapons. And the 15-minute cities is why they were partly instigated. I remember learning about this from a download I got walking home one day from a walk I took. I was putting the key right into my door and I was about to turn the lock when I looked behind me and I saw what looked like something that made me like see the optics that weren't there. I don't know how to explain it. Because when you have the gift to see, you see things other people won't see. You see things that are given to you, a vision that's given to you. And I saw something that wasn't there, and it made me feel Darth Vader, Star Trek kind of feeling. Do you remember when they put their finger in the first movie on the button to put the pulse radar laser or whatever on the planet where Leia was crying to them not to do it? And they did it. The first movie in 1977 was put out. That's what I saw. So these lasers were being uniformly, unilaterally used. I'm not saying my speech is bad. I'm sorry. By our military, and then they were turned on the civilians. So they would use them for, say, actual war, and later they used them outright on the civilians pre-Maui. We have the Paradise Fire. We have Colton, Oregon, where I live, which I don't know if the person I used to know that was from there, if he's gone now. He was Cuban born, which is now a target. They're going after Cubans too. Somebody I knew from my younger days. I hope he's okay. I don't know if he lived through that fire. That's where it was Colton. It was Carver or Colton, Oregon. One of those towns got hit really hard with these fires that were directed, and the whole town was decimated. And so when they do this, and they're doing it now over in the eastern center, some of these places we see getting decimated over North Carolina, South Carolina, it's them. They're wanting to do 15-minute cities on us so they can control us like a rat maze. It's not a life to live. It isn't. The other thing I noticed is that I don't see a whole lot of blue cars in the areas I live in. You see very few of them. So if, say, you were living in your car, you might be able to escape, said situation. If you could get in your car and get away from it, it wouldn't hit you. But if you're living in a home, like, I have to tell you, it's pretty upsetting. I don't know about blue, but your roof, I don't think can ever be blue. And for that weapon to not denote your house as being something that you hit, you have to have something blue up top. So if you don't have, if you have black or white or gray, that doesn't count. That means the laser is going to hit you. So unless you own the property and you can like lay blue tarp up there or something that would not rot your, your shingles or, your upper roof, you could put something up there that would be blue to save you from being, but how close are you living to your neighbor too? Because it jumps, fire jumps. And these are fast burning fires that do not stop. They take a lot of manpower to take out. They've got it down to a science, so it will definitely decimate what it does grab to. That's okay, Tendi. This is what this channel is about. It's not easy topics to talk about, but hey, if it's my fate, I guess it's my fate, right? If things don't get better, I don't want to be in this, during these times anyway. Thank you for caring, Tendi. I know. I don't want that for anyone. Okay. So, you have to have an open mind, everybody. This is the bonus. This is for open-minded ones. You don't have to be open-minded. You don't have to care. You don't have to listen. You could check out. I don't really want to pressure anyone to listen, but I'm going to explain this first. Okay. So I was explaining Starlink. I was explaining how that character who runs these businesses is all about intel, all about wanting to know about us. He is a spy between countries, intel, military data, attack strategies. He wants to know everything about when you've been to the bathroom. He wants to know everything about when you last had sex and who with and how long did it last. He wants to know private data on you. Okay, data is a very ferocious thing and it is worth a lot of money. So his inside dealings, how much of your data has he been selling? America has now been exploited by the biggest phishing scam it has never, ever known, with the Doge team going in there, stealing secrets about each individual that has ever in the United States history that is on documentation, paid taxes, had a social security number, had a court fee, a court fine, a date with attorneys and lawyers. Anybody who's been in the hospital, anybody who's had mental problems, anybody who's been on medicine, medical, mental, anything, anyone who has had surgery, they want to know every goddamn thing about us. Tell me that there's not something more at play here than him exploiting it for $1 or turning us into liquid gold, that is, right? Because the masses are worth a whole lot more than the one entity or the two or the three or the four. When you put us all together, we're worth a lot. So EM, who is the one who operates whatever Starlink, he wants to have his antennas, his tentacles in everything. He is more dangerous than the McDonald hound, the orange bean. Okay, he is more dangerous because he is right now got his hands in the pies of Wisconsin and Delaware. He wants to own the judicial system or take it down. He wants to have everything unilaterally fixed. The Orange Menace did say that we won't have to vote again. He said that they were going to have things fixed, so there would be no necessary votes again. Everything is going to be fixed. He said this on record before AI was actually implemented to be the deepfake. This is out there. You can find it if you haven't heard it. Candles, batteries, first aid, water, very important things. Yes, they're all worth so much now. So he has been putting Starlink up for those people who've been oppressed and hit by floods back east, who might not have otherwise wanted having such services over them. So while they're feeling ingratiated to need his assistance, his help, they feel like, wow, he saved the day. These are people who may never have liked him, gave him a second thought. They were using their regular internet. They were fine with that. Once these DEWs take out these cities that are going to be 5-minute cities, I feel the other companies are going to fold. They'll burn away. Their fiber optics, everything will be ruined. I think the plan is for Starlink to acquire full control over all internet. There has already been some speaking on them using X, which is formerly Twitter, for our banking, everything, right down to our health records, our banking, everything on that platform. So as I said before, this isn't just America. It's going to stretch into the rest of the world if we don't get a hold of him now. America is powerful if we have the working arms branches that have not folded under him operating. Now, I do feel that there is a faction behind him that, or them, that they're not aware of that might be trying to fight this, but I tried to explain, and I'm going to say this is the bonus part. AI is part of the wrecking ball. So knowing the things I've just spoken to on and learning these things that I did, I went into deep concentration. I went into deep meditation. I slept a long time, pulled out some information. I was told, go watch the entire Terminator series. Start with it. Now I kept on repeating, because it was on Pluto, kept on repeating the first film, which is the introduction, 84, where it all began, right? Then I moved on to the second one, and I went into the third one. Okay. I was in the first or the second, one of the two films. Now I'm trying to remember which one it was. Might have been the second one. I think it was the first one, actually, because Schwarzenegger was a bad guy in that one. He was out to get Connor, Sarah. He got previous Connors. He got the wrong Connors out of the phone book. So he did annihilate other Sarah Connors that were in the vicinity where she was at. She was the target. He didn't get to her, obviously. She was not supposed to impregnate with Kyle Reese what would be John. Synonymous for some of you that understand religion with Jesus, Yeshua. Also, if you know, I want to explain also, let me put a precipice on this, John Teeter. John Teeter is not one person, though. They say that's a code name that was used to come here. So if you know what John Teeter is, he is a person that is of many people. But John Teeter is, with Yeshua and John Connor all together in gematria, the same energy. They all are the same energy. They speak the truth, and they want to save humanity. That is the bright barn nun right there, what that is, okay? And they are not artificial. They are not liars, okay? They will not let fellow humans die. They're about saving humanity and love, right? Okay, so what happened was I was fast forwarding through a scene, and I don't know if you've ever seen Terminator much or enough, and you've seen Schwarzenegger, but he's wearing like a leather jacket and sometimes dungarees or some kind of dark work pants or something. You know, sometimes he wears like that kind of thing, right? Not really denim jeans, I don't think. More like it's a variety of things. I think that he is mostly in like something that's just darker wear. I don't remember if he had a white t-shirt, but the idea is he has a really wide neck and a specific kind of jawline. His face has a certain kind of contour about it. It's boxy, okay? The point is, there was a particular moment, and I got a flash on that one just now with the light. Somebody was driving by maybe, and they flashed a light on the sun. There was a particular moment where I had a micro moment where I paused the video. And when I saw him with a profile, but not quite a total profile, but it was enough of an angle, he looked just like 𝐬𝐢𝐭𝐡, the African one. Not his face, just the image of his outline. Everything that was about the jawline, the neck, and the general look, right? And as disturbing as it was, I had to look at it hard. He didn't ever look that way, but that particular shot, boom, just like him. So then I was like, well, why am I seeing this? And is this just my eyes playing the trick on me? Because I know this character has been teased about being alien or a robot. People don't think of him as human, right? So I don't think of him as human. I think he's an animal. I think he's not even an animal. That's saying something nice. He is a creature. I actually liken him to, as I've said before, the other one being AC, if you look at the Bible, and him being the actual devil. But when I come to my table where I keep everything, as of late, I've been keeping all my Scrabble over here at the table. I asked Spirit, while I was cooking my dinner the other day after I paused that video, I asked for the truth. I said, give me something. Who is he? What is he? Right? So these have been sitting on my other plate. I have a velvet jewelry thingy that I put them on, right? That's where I had it staying the whole time, so it would not be touched. Only one letter, like I told you. If you've been listening to me, you know that one letter sometimes is not there. It just means they're trying to hide in plain sight. It's supposed to be hidden. It's supposed to be a secret. It's too big, too important to be noticed. Or it's supposed to be naysayed, right? Terminator literally come out in the letters. I'm not joking. And I have more letters. If you'd like me to, I'll read the letters that come along with it. So if you want to work with me on it. But Terminator did come out. So it's neither here nor there. He is creating Optimus and other bots. There's some beautiful women I think he's created that were synthetic, that were, you know, like not real. They look real. That I'm sure that the orangutan plays with when he wants to. They probably have doll parties. I would say that these mechanized toys, the character that we think is the PRES, you know, Prez, I kind of feel that that's part of it. He likes engaging with things that aren't real. He's a disgusting, depraved individual. That makes sense. Oh, I don't have any kind of Zoom or Google, Tendy, but maybe one of these days we can. Yeah. I don't know that you have to worry about anything happening. I have faith that humans are gonna. I think that if something happens, though, I think it's going to be worldwide. This is the reason I really want everyone to, you know, really, really educate themselves, because if AI takes over, it is going to be like one of these series that I'm talking about now. Starlink and Skynet are synonymous. Starlink and Skynet. Link and net are synonymous. Star and sky. What do you have when you look up at the sky? You have the sky, you have the stars, right? So it's like being up high, right? I feel that he named it Starlink. It could have been named Skynet, but they could have played with that. I mean, for instance, they're using Stargate right now to implement more control over us. That is a TV series that, like Carrie and I both know of, right? That is truly wagging the dog, or not wagging the, pointing the finger, laughing and mocking at us, right? Using science fiction names that we know, kind of like using Star Wars, Star Trek. Well, I think that they used Star Wars programs back when Star Wars was already known with Reagan during that time. So no, when I got this reading, when I asked for this, I also got cards out about Terminator, and I got the death card. I got the death card. So yes, bringing an ending to people, being a true Terminator, That is what he is to do. That is what he's here for, cutting waste, fraud, and abuse. He calls us the waste, fraud, and abuse. We're fake. He feels that we aren't what, he wants or what he's programmed. So whoever programmed him, that makes me wonder, how real is his father, his mother? What if his entire family are cybernetic beings? What if none of those kids, those two people gave birth to, supposedly, are real? Look at how he's named his children. He's got 14 of them. How do we know that any of them are real? If cybernetics are so believable to the human eye, you would have trouble even faking out a doctor, unless you're going to go into the knife. There's going to be some telltale. They could be really good at the science at this point. We wouldn't know. And so going back to Area 51 and some of these hush-hush areas, tunnels, etc., how do we know how advanced they are? We don't. I think there's a lot we don't know. We've seen Optimus for, what is it, $1,500 or 15 grand? You can get like for the price of a cheap car. Well, before the tariffs, okay? But say 15 grand, you can get an Optimus, which is like just a robotic looking thing. But a cybernetic thing, a total different story. Those are the dolls like people like to buy for sex parties, having a wife that's not real for some of these creepy men out here. Doesn't death card mean an ending of yeah, the death actually Tendy can be many things. Okay, could just speak on Scorpio. Okay, the sign of Scorpio. It could actually speak of an end coming that you realize is coming, or a shock, and depending on what you see with it, it can be more telling. But usually we know when an ending's coming. Usually, like say somebody has been like fighting cancer and you see that show up, you know that the end is coming for that person. But it could be an end of a job, an end of a career. It could be the end of a relationship. It could be an end of anything, end of education. The money could be gone. It could be the end of you could be at the end stages of fighting cancer and fight it and not have it return, where you're told now you're fine, there's nothing malignant left. Or your budget could be in peril, and finally you've conquered the beast and you paid every last dollar off and now you're free. That's a death. So it can be seen in many ways. How do you know they are real? Because they have people that want them gone forever. They could be putting out AI robots. That's right. Terry, this is going to sound really gross, and I don't want anybody to get grossed out by me, but I'm just going to say this. Okay. I dealt with my twin. I had a twin flame. Some of you know about. I took the bite of the apple and temptation. Yes. I am married. I was having problems in my marriage, and somebody walked into my life in the internet, not in real life, okay, not on in physical format, okay. This person walked into my world, and he was like everything my husband wasn't. So he, it felt so wonderful, Well, that's what temptation is, right? You get this painted fantasy, you believe something, right? Well, he was really toxic. This person turned out to be very toxic. And I kept wanting that death card to show up, not to end his life, but just to end the scenario. Tried to break it off with him so many times. He wouldn't go. He wouldn't leave. He wouldn't leave me alone. He tried everything. He just kept up. And then finally, there was a day when we were at the very end, and I don't know if there's a way, because we were actually merged with each other in spirit form. Like in the astrals, I think we were connected. That's the reason why I see the twin flames scenario as very devil-centric. And I can explain farther another time, but very devil-centric. And I think we're used that way. I had shut my eyes and I saw a visible of him, like almost like a pornography, literally, playing in my mind's eye of him and a woman together. She looked real. I looked closer and she wasn't. And he was having a true passion time with her. I won't go into it too much. I don't want to get this channel, He was doing things with her, right? but I zeroed in on my optics, what I could see of it, because I feel like I was using my sixth sense to see it. He was actually having relations with something that was non-living but looked real. So when I come out of that, it was almost like I was waking up out of a deep sleep. When I come out of that, I was like, oh, I was like taken back. And it wasn't long after that, before he would do the death card on me, he would deliver me 10 of swords. And he would end things for me with him in a way I never. So I'm not sure whether he found money and he got himself one, or if somebody sent one on him, or what. He was he was kind of known in some circles on social media. Let's just say he's not very popular, but he had a very loud bark about him. So I think he was connected to some of these people that I would think are sort of the toxic community. So I would say that it's likely somebody sent him something that wasn't real, and he took up with it and didn't know he was playing with something that was because he fell for the sparkle, the beauty, whatever. I don't know. But that's what I saw. And so I'm wondering if I was right on that, because I think that the weakness, when I speak of America being weak for being gluttonous, greedy, and materialistic, and that is the truth, that's what America's downfall has been, also superficiality. Because if people will only take to people because of superficiality, they'll be victims. If you've ever seen Battlestar Galactica, think of Six. Six was the blonde who walked around in a little red dress. So if you know who I'm talking about, you know what I'm saying. So without going on a ledge with that too much, yeah, I used her to facilitate my staying away from him. That idea of him with this robotic thing that I saw, as in, well, he did the death punch on me with the 10 swords, but seeing that visual made me realize that there is not something real about that. Maybe he's not real. I don't know how else to explain it, but it kind of gave me a little more fortitude to walk away, to say, okay, I'm not going to play the emotion card towards him, because narcissists also love empaths. And that kept the doorway going back and forth, the swing door back and forth with us. And he didn't want to heal. And aside from his toxic qualities, he was a wonderful person. So I kept on having hope. Oh, he'll turn around. He'll turn around. My husband and I had to work through his illness and a lot of things. And that's part of the healing we've been going through. But that person, almost like the devil had come through that person into my world. So the temptation, I took a bite out of the apple. So it is sort of my own legacy that I had to live through. Part of how I got to see with my own two eyes the situation we're in now. A lot of the things I've experienced that I can actually impart as my first-hand knowing, exploring, and understanding are because of that twin flame scenario. But a lot happened in my life prior to that. So I am somebody who has lived through experiences, and I can impart that. That is why I read. I actually use the empathic and the oracle qualities I carry to bring my messages out. Hey, Faith, how are you? Yeah, I'm here. I've been betrayed well. When I was 18, I still am single to this day. Well, happy 30th, Cindy. That was quite toxic, I should say, but taught me a lesson. Not to trust too quickly. That's right there, yes. To not have, don't be too eager. And there goes the phone. Don't be too eager. I can call them back. I'm going to be done here in a moment. So it's just going to ring a couple more. Just a second. The other words I got with Terminator was Duke, D-U-K-E. Now there is Asmodeus and another 2 demons were mentioned here in the letters I have. They were missing one letter. Agaris and Asmodeus, those are the 2. Some of you may know who they are. They're demons. They're associated with Starlink, okay? And the Terminator I got here. I asked who he is. I got Duke. So I don't remember his father's name. It's not Earl by chance, is it? Anybody know his dad's name? Don't give up. Don't give up. We just have to fight some. It is Errol. Oh my gosh. Oh my God. I was thinking it was spelled different. It's more like Errol Flynn, Errol. I was thinking Earl, but the Duke of Earl, right? Duke. Oh my gosh. So you can't make this crap up. I'm not joking. Okay, Spirit was speaking through. This is actually him. Okay. And I did not have. I cannot believe this. I didn't even think of that until just now because I was hearing it. You know, Earl. And I see Daddy here. Has anybody heard the video that's making rounds about his daughter who was a girl, born a boy? And I have learned something about IVF pregnancies. Apparently that mother that he had, and he is a proponent of IVF pregnancies. And there's some people that are actually saying how many of Elon's children were IVF births. If they were, apparently there's something to do with the gender. When you have an IVF birth, it can mutate more like an amphibian. There's something about that. I don't remember what I heard about it, but it's almost like that's why people are so screwed up that are being born in these times. They're wanting to have reassignment surgeries because they are aware they were supposed to be born another way. So I'm not saying, or, you know, because I believe in programming. I think that some people get it in their brain, I'm not the right gender. But this could be something that is actually happening because they've effed with the actual fertility situation. So he has a cold, dead stare. So I just want to put this into preference, or not preference, but what is the word I'm looking for? Anybody who's been with me a while has heard me in my love triangle when I was young, how I fell in love with my childhood sweetheart and it went wrong. I botched it, and he would be a you know what to me when it ended because I was in a triangle between him and he was a military guy. I botched it with him because the guy who is now crossed over and I had been boyfriend and girlfriend beforehand, and something else had happened. There's a triangle situation in my past, and unfortunately, because I have Venus in my chart, I'm always in love with love. And Tendi, that's something just to be careful about, because if you really want to fall in love and you're too eager, it can, you can be your own worst enemy by not being cautious who you trust your heart with. Be very careful with that. Carrie, as far as that goes, this guy Errol, who's the father to that creature from Africa, if my past love were to be an old man, he would look like that guy. I mean, there's a similarity there. Not an African, but there's like the German heritage. I would say that there's probably some German like lineage in their bloodline, maybe. I think that he kind of looks like him a bit. Like there's a like maybe the eyes. I always thought he looked like actually Paul McCartney. You know, Paul McCartney, the Beatles. That's who my former love looked like. But this guy has a similarity for the mean side of what I've seen. But I'm gonna say the funny thing is that when I first met him, his best friend's name was Earl, spelled Earl. How funny is this? It's like Spirit has a way of speaking to us. And that's why sometimes as old ladies and old men actually do well, because we have a little bit of life to go on, history to work with, right? And so sometimes, and it doesn't mean you have to be old to have these abilities. I'm just saying sometimes you have more connections to, you know, put together. So, you know, this man who I'm seeing here is the daddy. This is the Duke. I'm missing. Okay, everybody interested, get your notepads out. This is the original section of letters that I have that I brought in for the bonus. Now, this means I pulled them out last week. They've been waiting. They've been on the waiting So I'm going to have to rewind the video for myself because I'm going to put them away. We have G, D, A, K, A, O, D, Y, O, R, O, T, A, N, R, E, T, A, V, U, T, N, U, T, E, 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 O, T, and we have D, U, K, and E. And I only took that in one swoop. I took a healthy amount of numbers, or being letters out with one fist. That was a lot. I got them, and I got what I was supposed to. I did not try to add anything to it, take anything away from it. That's why there's too many E's there, really, but I left them all there. We have NATO, NATO, but who is he? I had Terminator. That was the first, and because I was looking at it after the video, it was like it told me I am spot on with that. So I don't know if there's like more versions of him, and there's a real version of him walking around, a flesh version and a cybernetic version, or several cybernetic versions. So he could be an actual person who is hooked to ketamine, but they use other versions of him to do certain engagements, and he's programmed to do those. So that's what I'm kind of wondering, if he has previously been, but he could be from the very cradle. He could have been not real. I mean, has anybody seen AI, the movie that Steven Spielberg did with David, the little boy who you had to say the code to turn him on or activate him? Let me see if I can find that, because it's kind of Pinocchio-like. And this is where technology meets sorcery. You have to remember that, okay, let me see if I can give you a little Cybertronics building scene. Just a second.
I guess. Are you me? I'm David. You're not. Yes, I am. I'm David. So am I. Hello, David.
This is the part. He's like a little Pinocchio doll waiting to be activated. But it takes a little bit of effort. So this is like sorcery meets technology, and that's where we are right now. So let me explain, if you've not seen AI with Steven Spielberg, that film he created with 𝐒𝐩𝐢𝐭𝐡, I forget his name. He is just an actual life-looking child. He looks believable, cybernetic, okay? He breathes. I think he bleeds. I think he does all the things that people do, but he might not bleed, but in that story, but that the idea of cybernetics, you're supposed to be believable in every way. But anyways, he hasn't been made to be theirs. So there's such a thing as activation. So he could still act like a symbiosis or a actuated person. He could still do. Are you all there? I may have to cut this pretty soon because they tried to cut me, and I think it's what I'm talking about. Okay, so let me just finish that up real quick. No, don't trust the GPX. Don't trust any of the models especially the one that EM Starlink guy has. Don't trust any of them, okay? It is up to you, but if you want my advice, I would not trust them. I listen to other people ask questions, but I will not do it myself. I trust it less than I would a Ouija board. That's just how I feel. So yes, if you've seen the film I was talking about just now before they cut me out, which we were lucky I got it back. I think I need to get going because I think that maybe they're trying to silence me. I'm going to try and come out tomorrow for another one. And the personal reads would be Wednesday, Thursday here. I don't know if I have Friday available, but I'm going to try. It's touch and go. I don't know how much time I have. I might say for the first 10 people. I might have to specify. And so people that have their indicators on, their bells on, will know I'm around. But it's because of time and because I'm going to have to reduce my energy outtake for a little while. But